Welcome everyone to Save the Script. I am Baby Giraffe.
I'm H&M.
And we're joined today by Branson.
Hello everybody.
Introduce yourself.
Yeah.
I am Branson, a broke, almost college student. And
you can't be truly broke until you're actually a college student.
That is fair.
Yeah.
I'll just be extra broke when I'm a college student. But hopefully I start those classes in January. One of my hobbies is flying. I'm currently pursuing getting my private pilot's license.
He's going to be a proud member of the Canada-Korea Air Force.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you do have a YouTube channel, right?
I do.
It's just your name.
It's literally just Branson Good, and I posted a lot of like shorts and stuff like that. So I'm hoping to post a little bit more.
Yeah, post more
Yeah.
often. It's like every time I see you, I'm like, post when you posting.
Yeah, and what kind of stuff do you do there? Like, what kind of videos do you make?
I just kind of random stuff that was on my phone, and also it kind of started when I posted a video about me landing doing my first solo cross country. And so I posted that, and
Awesome.
it got a lot of good feedback. So I was like, "Ooh, I'm gonna do some more."
Nice.
He's got a cool flight simulator though, so he's got to make
yeah.
some.
Yes, I love the flight sim. It connects to my VR headset, and it's awesome. It's like almost as real as the real thing. So
Yeah.
Awesome.
it's pretty awesome.
All right. Well, this week our topic is Over the Garden Wall, which is fantastic. Correct?
Absolutely.
It's better.
It's better than that. What's okay? What would you say is better than fantastic? Spectacular.
Spectacular.
Amazing. From all the Spider-Man titles.
Ultimate.
Unlimited.
It's very, very good.
It is very, very good. It's a mini series, this is the only mini series I've ever seen.
Really?
Yeah, I can't think of a different mini series that I've seen.
Huh.
It was the very first format for this kind of show that I'd ever seen.
It's definitely the first miniseries I've seen. I've seen a couple others, I think. I know I've seen one other, but it got turned into a full show. So,
Okay.
does that count? I don't know.
How long were the episodes? Because these episodes are like 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah, they're 12 minutes.
Awesome,
Yeah.
'cause I like the shorter episodes and everything.
Oh yeah.
It's great. The
Yeah.
format really works for it.
Oh yeah. I mean, like, there are some miniseries and stuff that you're left with like a lot of questions, or there's a lot of like potential that hasn't been tapped into yet.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's the case with Over the Garden Wall. Over the Garden Wall is like, it is just the right length. It tells its story. It does everything it needs to do, and then it's done. It's just great. It's perfect.
Yeah, it's like the perfect amount of mystery at the beginning, and it gives you all the right information at the right time, and it just keeps you pulled in the entire time.
This is it's got a really strong mystery to it. It is also like one of the best series to watch around fall. October.
Mm-hmm.
It's got all the aesthetics. The visuals are amazing, especially like the backgrounds and stuff.
Yeah, well, it basically exclusively happens, it's during the fall and at nighttime.
Yes.
Half the show is almost at nighttime.
Yeah, it's like and it's also like fall to winter. Like, it's kind of that range. It's like
It has
fall.
like creepy snow
Yeah.
in the final.
Always
Ooh.
mysterious. And good music too.
Oh
Yeah.
man,
Oh,
the
Potatoes
mu-
and Molasses is like
Dude.
my favorite song.
yeah, it's good, man.
Dude, the music is amazing. I listen to that all the time, like especially in fall. Like, I listen to it all the time. This is my fall.
You've
show,
got Christmas
I guess.
music, and then you've got spooky season music, which is just Over the Garden
It's
Wall.
just Over the Garden Wall. Maybe a little bit of Fantastic Mr. Fox soundtrack in there, but you know.
There we go.
I don't have a lot of stuff for fall. Those two, like, strong.
For
fall
me, it's
series.
just I have all the Scooby-Doo songs.
Yeah.
All the soundtracks. Scooby-Doo's.
What's new, Scooby-Doo?
Oh
Classic.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
You can watch that anytime.
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't have to be a specific season
That's
for
true.
Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, this is a really, really good series.
What is so funny?
Harsh transition
It's been
there. That's
5
what it was,
minutes
yeah.
and we've already gone
We're-
on track.
It's gonna be hard to focus. Anyways, yeah, the art direction for this series is really cool, especially since it takes a lot of inspiration from like early American like folk art and stuff like that, which I think is really cool because you don't see that a lot, and America is pretty cool, and I really like those aesthetics, and I think they're not really very, I guess they're not commonly represented in like modern media
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
I think it's really cool that they took inspiration from that.
The first time I saw the show, I thought it was a timepiece. I thought it was set back in time.
Mhm.
And in the second episode, Wart asked to like, "Oh, I was looking for a phone," and then I was just like, "Wait, what? What are you talking about?
I mean,
What are you phones? What?" And then
okay. Well,
how is this not back in time? What is
well,
this?
before we get too far into it, so summarizing non-spoilers because we clearly want to get into spoilers.
I'm holding back so bad right now.
All right, so
everything I want to say.
Summarize your non-spoiler thoughts, fellas.
It's really good. It's really interesting for all ages. It's not a kid's show.
Well, I mean, it is, but it's
I have some younger siblings.
Its target audience is children, but that doesn't mean it isn't good.
It's got
for
like
everybody.
mild horror elements, or
Yeah.
like suspense elements.
Yeah,
in
I
it.
mean, it's not for babies. It's not for your 2-year-old, obviously.
Moral of the story: don't
But
let your 2-year-old watch
don't
it, but
let
your
your
4-year-old is
yeah.
completely fine.
2.5. He's a man now. You gotta expose him to some horror shows eventually, I guess. I don't know.
I did.
I
Really
found treasure. What is it? It's a skeleton. Whoa. Okay.
Yeah. So, well, it's not for like little kids. But you know, it's like how The Lion King is. It's a kids' film technically, but it's like I don't think that's a bad thing. That its target audience is children, if that's what you mean. If you mean it's exclusively for kids, you're wrong.
Yeah.
Because it's just it's a good story. It's kind of like C.S. Lewis's thoughts on the matter, where it's like a good story is for like all ages. Like you can appreciate a good children's story even as an adult.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't think that's a negative thing. And if you're an adult, you can certainly enjoy this show.
Oh, absolutely.
Obviously, like so,
Absolutely.
So I definitely recommend this show, especially for this time of year. So if you haven't seen it, I say check it out. It's pretty great.
100%.
So
and even if you're a kid and you don't pick up on the plot very well, you'll still enjoy the visuals and the music
and the comedy
the humor,
and the comedy.
And
the comedy is amazing. So yeah, it's all ages for sure.
Yeah. So check it out. We'll give you a second to get out of here. Okay, it's over. We're going into spoilers.
Yep. That was your warning.
That was your warning. Get out.
I don't know how long that was. That's plenty of time.
That's probably fine.
Yeah.
I mean, it is now because we keep talking about it. It's
Now
fine,
the juicy stuff.
Let's get into the details.
So who do you think the Beast is actually?
That's like some straight up lore.
We're just going straight into the fan theories.
Let's skip the show entirely. Well, okay, so it opens on Greg and Wart, these two kids,
Greg
right?
and Wart, yeah.
Yeah, walking through the woods, and they don't know how they got there. Wart is he's just confused, he's lost.
Well,
And Greg is just singing along.
He's doing Greg stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have to recount the plot too much.
Oh yeah, I just want to that's how it starts. It's very interesting how it starts.
It's a strong opening, and I just want to mention the series has like some of the best foreshadowing. Like it's so good. Everything is so well set up. So like if you want to know how to do setup, check out this show. It's a great example of how to do setup. Like even like the very ending, you know, at the opening where he's describing like the unknown, like the narrator is.
Yeah.
You can see the silhouettes of Wirt, Greg, and of course Jason Funderburker floating, like sinking in the river.
Yeah, in the water.
Yeah,
it's like wavy.
You can see that.
No.
Like
Yeah. It's like wavy, like they're underwater.
I didn't even notice that.
Yeah.
I have to watch it again.
Yeah, it's pretty quick. Like you know, you can't quite tell it at first, but once you've watched it, you can start picking up on stuff like that. Like there's a lot of little details I noticed this watch through, which I should say I've watched it a lot. So
yeah. I actually just watched it with the the first half of it with the commentary from the head storyboard and art director, and I was like, they had a few cool things that they pointed out to me, and I was like, that's so cool. So
yeah,
be sure to mention
I
them
love it.
when they come up.
The one that stood out to me was they went ahead and looked ahead at what the moon was going to look like when it aired, and they wanted to make sure they had that moon in the show.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
It's amazing. I love it when TV shows put that much thought into even the tiniest details.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There's so much that, like, you know, when Wirt realizes they're lost and he looks around and they've got like a couple shots of like spooky forest, like there's an owl and then there are these squirrels.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and they've got bows on.
Bow ties.
Yeah, bow ties. And those squirrels come back in episode 3, I believe. So like they're at the benefit for the school, the benefit concert.
Oh really?
Yes.
Yep.
So those squirrels are the same squirrels. They come back. It's like, you didn't have to do that, but you did, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So I thought that was a really neat detail.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And sometimes each episode will end with will end on a frame foreshadowing a part to come. Like Beatrice at the end of the very first episode is just a silhouette in the background,
Right.
but she obviously comes back at the end of almost every episode. There's a setup for what's going to come ahead.
Really,
And
I didn't
just-
notice that much. I mean, like, to a degree, I noticed, but you know,
Yeah.
I didn't notice it for like every episode.
Yeah. It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Yeah. So the intro, like, for examples of foreshadowing, the intro, like the very first like opening song is like, it's a great example of just like foreshadowing, because it foreshadows like every episode pretty much.
Well, it has a like a visual to piece together from all the
Right.
different
Yeah.
stories going along.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Like you see, like, oh, my brain just died.
Never mind.
Never mind. Okay.
Never mind. My brain died on me.
I have something to say, but it's towards the end, so I'll.
Toward the end?
I'll
Okay.
I
wait
mean,
for later.
You can say it now. It's fine.
Okay.
We'll just forget it. Forget trying to.
At the very end, when they come, like when they're, it's like right before they go
They
over the wall.
Okay.
The actual name of the place was called the Everlasting Garden. I thought that was really weird. The cemetery was named that.
Oh.
Yeah.
And that was something that I didn't pick up on until the last time that I watched it. And I was like, that's really
What was it called?
weird.
The
The Everlasting Garden.
Everlasting Garden.
Mm-hmm. So I had a weird thought that was like all of the Adelaide trees were actually the dead people in the cemetery.
Oh, the Adelaide trees? Well, I mean, the unknown is supposed to be like a limbo. That much is like obvious. Like Quincy Endicott's gravestone is in the cemetery.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
So
Yeah, it's.
yeah. So
Okay.
so there are dead people in the unknown. So I'm not sure.
Well, obviously, because Greg
Right.
and Wart are there.
Well, I mean, they're not dead yet, but yeah.
That's what he meant
They're
by
dying,
limbo.
yeah.
Like it's.
Oh, okay.
It's like in between. It's like a mix of life and death. So
Okay.
it's not quite either, I guess. But yeah, it's pretty cool. All those little details.
Way cooler than Purgatory.
Oh yeah,
Way
way
cooler
cooler.
than Purgatory.
Yeah, Purgatory sucks. No offense.
I
to the Catholics,
interrupted
guys.
you. I don't know what you were going to say.
I don't know what I was gonna say. Dog in the first episode is Beatrice's dog, which is cool.
Yeah?
The
Yeah.
mill is Beatrice's house, her family's house, which is also a cool detail. It's pretty cool
That's
that it comes together. Yeah. The candy pants.
Oh my goodness. When I watched this show for the first time, I'm like, this is kind of ridiculous. He just has candy in his pants.
You were not.
Yeah.
You
Can I
were not-
retell the story about like me watching this for the first time?
Oh yeah, please do.
Okay.
It's a good story.
So I'm watching this Over the Garden Wall because H&M was like, oh, this is such a good show here. I'm like, okay, so I'm watching it, and my goodness, this thing is hilarious. I am like laughing nonstop throughout this whole thing, like cracking myself up. It's hilarious, and but I'm not taking it seriously at all. Like I don't
Yeah.
understand anything. I'm not picking up on any of these subtle hints Again, in episode 2, when Wart is like, "Oh, I'm looking for a phone," I was confused because I completely thought this was a time period
Yeah.
piece. I didn't.
You're like, that doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense.
That's
And then
ridiculous.
why is Greg? I'm like,
Yeah.
Candy. I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. Why does he have a paw on his head? That doesn't make any sense.
That's stupid.
There's skeletons. There's weird stuff happen all over the place. And then when it starts to make sense, when it starts with the flashbacks, which I think is episode 7.
The flashback episode?
Yeah,
No.
the prequel episode.
No, I think that's like episode 9. I think it's
9?
the last. It's second to last. Yeah, pretty sure.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
you're right
because
on that.
episode 8, he falls in the water, and then it's flashback.
Gotcha.
And then,
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
I felt like an idiot because I'm like, oh my goodness, everything is making so much sense. Everything is so more intertwined than I thought it was. I should have been paying so much more attention to these small details. The Beast is freaking intense. Like
Oh my
The
god.
Beast is cool, man.
It's
the
like,
souls
it's
of the children are the trees. That I'm like, oh my gosh.
What were you telling me earlier about the Beast? Like the
Oh.
way every character
Every
would
time-
say, you can
Yeah, every time a different character is talking about the Beast in the tavern or the woodsman, the camera angle shifts to focus on the character's shadow. So the character's shadow might not be in the frame originally, but as soon as they start mentioning the Beast, it switches to have their shadow in the picture.
That's pretty cool.
Just
That's
Yeah.
a really cool detail.
this art director was like, well, they were talking about the Beast, so we gotta have shadows in in every single shot. And I'm like, wow, it just
That's-
is
yeah.
He kind of was just a silhouette for like up until episode 10.
Yeah, they tried to keep him as dark as
Yeah.
possible. They didn't want people to be able to make him out as much as possible.
Yeah,
So-
there's only one really quick shot where you can see what the Beast looks like,
Mm-hmm.
and that's
Oh
in
my gosh,
episode 10.
I was trying to pause it on that one clip,
Yeah,
and it took me like 10 tries the first time.
I try to do it every time I show somebody the show, just because it's like that's a really cool frame, and I want them to see how.
It's got a
freaking-
bunch of faces that are like,
Yeah, I mean
Smushed
he's
together.
they look like
he's-
they're in pain, like
Yeah.
even though they're all still,
Screaming.
even though they're all like
he's like
hardened wood.
like visually he's like an amalgamation of like all like the twisted lost souls of the
that
unknown.
he's consumed.
Yeah, well I mean, yeah, kind of. It's it gets a little confusing when you try to dig up the lore and stuff, but you know, it makes plenty of sense. It's just there's a lot of stuff that's unexplained, and that's okay.
Yeah.
That's how this was supposed to be. I
Yeah.
think there has to be a little bit of mystery in it.
Yeah, there's yeah, it's nice to have like places to or things to think about once the show
Mhm.
is over. Like
The very first episode we have the woodsman going along. He runs into the Wart and Greg, and he's doing. He's chopping down the animal trees and grinding them up for the oil to burn in the lantern.
right.
And as his story progresses, we learn that he's lost his daughter, and the Beast has put her soul into the lantern, and so his task,
Supposedly.
yeah, his
Allegedly.
his task as the lantern bearer is to keep the lantern lit, and he needs to keep the lantern lit to protect his
Or else
daughter's
his
soul.
daughter's flame will go out.
Yeah. Oh, it's
Yeah.
so interesting. So
and then,
interesting.
of course, the reveal at the end that she was never in it.
She was never in
He
it to
was
begin with.
always the Beast.
Because the Beast
Yeah.
fights the woodsman, and when Greg is about to
Yeah.
die, and the Beast offers Wart the chance to take over
Yeah.
as the woodsman's job, as of lantern bearer.
Yeah.
He can put his brother's soul into the lantern, and that will make Wart have it like be enslaved
Yeah.
to chop down the animal trees. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
Yeah,
And
It's pretty twisted.
he
it's
wants-
so twisted.
Yeah, he really wants Wirt to be his chop man, I guess, his axe bearer. Because
Well,
I've showed this show to people, and when the Beast says like, I can put his soul in the lantern, like as long as the flame stays lit, your brother will live on in the
Right.
in the flame, and like people will have like their like hands over their mouths and like did not expect that out of the show at all.
Yeah.
Like,
No, it's-
but when you watch it like a second and third time, it's obvious like setting up like. Oh, so much foreshadowing towards that
Mhm.
moment.
and it's really cool. It's a really
and
good
especially
moment.
since the entire show is like built on their brothers' relationship with each
Right.
other, it really hits hard.
Right, and this is when Wirt is taking like his responsibility. He's finally like manning up and taking responsibility for his brother and treating him well. You know, I mean, he's gonna die if he doesn't, of course. So, but and so it's really cool to see that he doesn't he realizes that it's a trick, and he doesn't fall for it.
Yeah.
And I like that he gives the lantern to the woodsman, so the woodsman can do it.
Yeah, because it's his responsibility for his daughter.
It's his fight, not Wirt's. So it's a really good moment, and I think it's pretty clever plan from the Beast as well. Because the Beast would before he would have had to chop them down and like hunt them down and make sure they got lost and tired and gave up and became the Edelwood trees in the first place. So he'd have to tend to growing his forest as well as chopping it down and fueling the lantern.
Yep.
So it makes a lot of sense to trick somebody into doing the chopping down parts. You can just go out and mess with people and try to make more Edelwood trees.
You just have to scare him into believing that he was...
Yeah, just
losing hope and...
Lose hope. Either you have to lose your hope or your mind, you have to lose hope or mind, the mental stuff. Or you have to lose your body, you have to lose the physical stuff, which is kind of how he starts to get Wirt with the mental stuff and the emotional stuff, but then he gets Greg with the physical stuff by just wearing him out.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool.
It is pretty crazy.
It's pretty cool. It's I'm glad they made it so, because Greg isn't going to, his spirit's not going to break. So to divide it up so that way it can be either or fixes any problems that could arise because of that narrative.
He's a plan B. If he can't get you mentally, he's going to get you physically.
Yeah, he can go either way. It doesn't matter if you're just if you're happy as can be and you've got hope for miles or whatever. That's a horrible experience.
You'd be happy eating leaves, man.
Yeah, eating leaves.
Oh no, they're even growing inside of him.
I was just eating leaves. I suppose it's a good segue.
And there's so much comedy that it kind of relieves any tension that there might be.
Well, I'd say for the majority of the show leading up to it, it is built on that's what kept me into it the first time. Because I thought had no clue how.
But you didn't think there were
connected the stories were.
Yeah, you didn't think there were any serious elements.
Not really.
Yeah,
not at all.
You thought it was pretty.
I thought
the
woodsman was in the first episode, and I thought, oh, he was cool, and then he comes back for a little bit in the middle. I'm like, oh, that's interesting, and did not have any clue what they had planned for him, and so I was just all into the comedy because. Dude, it's so good.
Yeah, it's a funny show.
So it is.
It's a really
It'll
funny
keep you
show.
Engaged too.
Yes. I like waffles. What do you eat? I eat maggots. I don't like waffles. Ah! How do you not like waffles? Doesn't even address the maggots.
Yeah, that's a good one. The magical tiger.
I was gonna say that.
And that one comes back too, which is really funny.
I wish my frog had fingernails so he could play the guitar better. What?
Great.
What are you talking about?
Man, I think it's so funny that the magical tiger bit is really funny. It's just the fact.
I'm gonna turn you into a magical tiger.
Beatrice is like, I'll do you a good turn. I'm not magical. I want a tiger. I just said I'm not magical.
It doesn't have
to be a magical tiger. Then when he gets the bell, he's gonna use it to wish for. I want a magical tiger. That's not how that works.
The wart immediately steals
it before it's too late.
I like what you said, Branson, with the comedy kind of counteracting the kind of horror suspense elements. In the very first episode, when it's the dog, the corrupted dog is after him. Wirt's throwing all the potatoes, and Greg looks to the side. He looks at his frog, and the accent goes, "Should I throw something?"
and then candy camouflage throws candy at the dog.
Candy camouflage.
You have beautiful eyes.
And yeah, the comedy does balance that out really well. Branson is a Great observation. You're
Like
correct.
the first episode is like entirely at nighttime. That it's super dark in the
Oh, yeah.
woods. It's super scary.
It's spooky.
But the comedy goes so hardcore, especially for Greg. Like he is just optimistic throughout the entire thing, and he's the jokes just come so easily through him. It's so good.
Of course, another gem is it's because the president is new.
Oh my gosh.
That's another great one.
Everyone else is
My
wearing
frog,
clothes.
George Washington.
He's got cold little feet. He's a frog, Greg. They're supposed to be cold.
It's a frog society.
This is my favorite part. When Branson first watched this series, we had a big party. He was showing it to a bunch of people, and Branson had to go. He had to leave.
I know. I didn't want to. I had to.
He had to leave at the beginning of is that episode 5 or?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's 5.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's the frog one.
Frog lullaby
Yeah.
or whatever it's called.
Yeah, is it Lullaby in Frogland? I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he had to leave during that, and he, as he was leaving, he said, "But it's a frog society."
That's what it looked like. It's just a bunch
Yeah.
of frogs, well dressed. They're all
You're
on a
right.
boat.
You're right. And then, of
It's
course,
pretty cool.
what did you do after you left?
I went to bed.
Relating to the series, I mean.
I went back and I watched the rest of it.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Like
it
the
was
next
so good, I
day,
had to.
you bought the series on Amazon and watched it.
Oh yeah.
Which is the correct response to this
Yes,
show.
that is true.
Yeah, forget buying it on Blu-ray. I just looked it up like a month ago. It's like over $100 for this show.
I got it while it was cheap. So
You can watch it for free
You're
on
lucky.
Hulu, I believe.
yes, it is on Hulu right now, which we should have mentioned in the non-spoiler part, but I forgot. So spoiler people, tell the non-spoiler people.
Comment it down below.
Comment
for
below.
us.
So the whole comment section, which shouldn't be hard. So we were talking about comedy.
Comedy.
What's
What's your favorite jokes, guys?
the president is nude? is
That's
my
your
favorite.
favorite.
It's pretty funny.
Pretty darn good.
I can hold your hand, Thunderburger. It's really
Oh
funny.
my! I don't care.
I can hold your hand, Thunderburger. I don't care.
This wasn't even a joke, but like the fact that Thunderburger was just this nerdy
Yeah.
kid.
Yeah,
And they
well-
made him out to be like this.
Well,
I was
with
thinking he's just
Jason
some jock.
Thunderburger,
Yeah.
you'd think you have this image in your mind of what because he picks him up as being he has his act together. He's good.
He's
First off, his name sounds like a jock name. You know,
Yeah.
it sounds very tough.
Yeah.
He did a good job at playing with the sound of his name.
And during the flashback episode, they're at the football game,
Right.
and I'm thinking he's a football player. That's
Well,
just
yeah.
what I think.
Yeah,
it just
it-
makes sense to me.
It does make sense. I mean, with a name like Jason Thunderburger, you would think, but and of course, Wirt calls him, he's the total package and everything
Yeah.
like that, and his reaction to finding out that Jason Thunderburger is gonna ask Sarah out is just complete horror.
Because obviously she'll go for a guy like him.
It's like I don't stand a chance, and then Jason Thunderburger's, "Hi, Sarah."
Just comes out with his bowl cut nerd.
This little dweeb over here.
he didn't even wear a costume for the Halloween party.
It's
What
true.
a loser.
He went as a man in the suit. Dress for the job you want.
They totally
probably the
played
funniest
you.
part for me.
They
Yeah.
totally played us with that. Every time
Oh,
I watch
yeah.
it, everyone,
It's so funny.
everyone's like, "Wait, what? That's who that is?"
I watched it with my mom for the first time this watch through, and her reaction.
Oh, she had
was
never
the
seen
same-
it before?
No, she'd never seen it.
Oh,
before,
interesting.
so-
Okay.
So I watched it with her, and her reaction was like, "That's Jason Thunderburger. That's it. That's the guy he's worried about."
The guy you don't need to be worried about is Jason Thunderburger.
How does that meme even go? I forget. It's
That might even show you how-
it's you versus the guy she tells
Tells
you
you
not to worry about.
about.
So it's Wirt versus Jason Thunderburger.
That might even show you how insecure Wirt
Well,
made
oh,
him.
Absolutely,
definitely is.
because during the conversation with Beatrice, like the big secret he reveals is, "Well, I have a crush on a girl," And that's it.
That's it.
And I play clarinet.
And white poetry.
and he tells poetry to himself at night. Well, I mean, it's
Oh, that's kind of weird.
kind of weird.
That's kind of weird.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of Wirt's story is about like gaining confidence.
Oh yeah.
That's a big part of it. It's about him gaining confidence in himself and taking responsibility for his brother and having a better relationship with Greg.
And Greg thought he was like some sort of like superhero type, like he was his role model.
Oh yeah.
And so that probably affected Wirt's, I don't know, persona a little bit too.
I mean, definitely the one where he makes the beast with the beast.
He makes
a deal with the beast.
Deal with the beast. Okay.
Yeah. What's that? I don't know what I said.
You said a beast with the beast.
When he makes the beast.
He makes a beast with the beast.
Deal with the beast. He feels like it's his fault. He feels like it's his fault. He's let his brother down because he's a burden.
Wirt straight up told him, everything. This is all your fault. And Greg was like, "It's my fault." He was like, "I didn't even know."
And then he was trying to find a way to fix it.
Yeah.
Because he believed him.
Yeah, he's like, "I'm the leader now, so I don't know what to do. I don't know how to lead," and so that's what he tries to figure out in Cloud City, which.
The Welcome Committee.
Yeah.
That's a weird episode.
It is my least favorite.
Yeah.
Just because of how strange it is. It feels a little disconnected from things, but
there's that one. Well, that episode with like the cloud, the north wind,
right?
Where it goes almost like Tom and Jerry level cartoon.
Well,
it's weird because they actually show the real world happening and like it affects the real world to an extent. Like the weather changes when the north wind is released.
You would think the weather changing is influencing the dream, not the other way around.
That's
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
yeah.
But like Cloud City is to some degree real, obviously, because like he makes a deal with the queen of Cloud City, whatever her name is.
Yeah, I don't know. And
like it actually does influence things in the real world. Like there's some influences that happen because of it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of a weird episode. It's not my favorite, but there's a lot of other good stuff in it. It's just that dream section that's kind of strange. Although the Old North Wind song is a banger.
It's good.
It's a really good song. I like that one a lot.
Oh yeah.
The ending of the episode though, where the beast just come Gregory, and it's so creepy, and the snow is already like packed on the ground, and it's getting a creepy aesthetic.
And how
lower the sun into this cup to save your brother.
Yeah, and like another thing with that episode is how Greg says goodbye to Wirt, and Wirt's reaction to it. Just like nothing.
Yeah.
It's like, please take care of. I forget what the frog's name at the time was, but Jason.
And he gave him the rock.
Yeah.
And that's a rock.
Yeah. So he asked Wirt to take care of his frog. He gets no response, and he's just like, "Okay, I have to go now. Bye, Wirt."
It's sad.
Yeah,
it's
really sad.
At that point, like the show is like taking itself very seriously.
Yeah.
Like even after the whole episode of Cloud City, which was really weird, like what the show on a whole is still very serious.
Yeah, I mean, other than the Cloud City section, which is a lot, but other than that, I think that episode's really good. Like, there's a lot of good stuff in that. But that Cloud City section is just strange. And I do kind of like that it's I like the art stuff, so I like that it's referencing or kind of paying homage to early animation stuff. But there doesn't seem to be like a lot of plot going on with that,
Yeah.
So.
Well, and it kind of shows you, like, animation-wise, like, you don't have to do anything crazy. You just need, like, focus on the storyline, and it'll pretty much sell itself.
Yeah, I mean, you're right about that, but I mean, the animation is good in this show, too.
Mm-hmm. So. Well, it's simplistic, but I think they do put a lot of detail in it, too.
Yeah, I mean, it's stylized. It's a cartoon, so they've stylized it, of course.
Yeah.
and I really like the style. So
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So,
Yeah.
like especially the back.
The beast design.
The beast
so
design
good.
is solid.
It's
It's
crazy.
so solid. I think the main characters' designs are really solid. The beast is a standout, of course.
The woodsman.
And the woodsman.
Oh, woodsman is such a cool out. Like,
The-
It's pretty cool too.
The woodsman is one of my favorite. Like
Mm-hmm.
he's really up there. Like I really like the woodsman a lot.
Who's he voiced by? He's
He
voiced
is
by a popular.
He's voiced by
old man from Back to the Future.
the old man from Back to the Future, whose
Mhm.
name is escaping me, but perhaps Baby G can help me figure it out.
I can probably look it up here.
I mean,
Have
you
IMDb.
could look it up on your computer, which you have IMDb up already.
I do for the episodes. I can't
Right.
look up too many things at once.
I mean, one thing that's surprising about the show that I found out because my mom is very good at recognizing celebrities. So
Christopher Lloyd.
yeah, Christopher Lloyd.
I know Elijah Wood is.
Elijah Wood
Ward.
is Wirt, and there's a lot of celebrities in the show. John Cleese is Endicott,
Yeah,
Quincy Endicott.
and he also voices Adelaide.
Oh, he does?
Yeah.
Okay, that's really
That's
funny.
crazy.
Yeah, he voices both of them. He voices
That makes
Adelaide.
that's really cool.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they got him for it. Like,
I know,
he's-
it's so
he's,
weird.
He's the guy from Monty Python. Like, he's Monty Python.
I have a bit of a question. So
Okay.
who is Adelaide supposed to represent? Because she's not a lost soul, right?
No, she
No.
is a servant of the beast of some kind. So,
Okay.
so she lures children into like her service, uses them as servants, wears them out, and then they become trees, I assume. And I kind of think that's her general plan, is that she just takes them in as child servants, works them basically to death, and then
So
the,
kind
Until
of
they
the
become
same,
trees.
and then the beast can harvest them for his lantern. So
kind of the same concept as Auntie Whispers too, right?
Well,
no,
Not quite.
Auntie Whispers is kind of the inverse, because instead of helping the beast, she like eats up like turtles and stuff, which the turtles are evil.
they
in the
corrupt.
show.
They corrupt
Yeah.
everything.
The turtles are clearly related to the beast in some way,
Mm-hmm.
or the trees at least in some way. So they're like a corruptive influence. Now, how exactly that works, you know?
Theme was the turtles.
Yeah, the turtles are like a corrupting influence. Like you can see that with the dog. When the dog eats the turtle, he becomes like this evil monster dog.
And when he spits it out, he's just a normal
He's just
dog.
a normal dog. Yeah, he doesn't get exactly spit it out. He gets shoved through a water mill and then gets crushed out of it.
The building just gets
But
destroyed.
somehow he was absolutely
Yeah.
fine afterwards.
His body went back to normal. He's healed.
Maybe the beast ate a turtle, and that's what turned him into...
The beast was a tree that ate a turtle.
That would explain the weird antler
That
thing.
would be. And one other celebrity that I noticed that I don't know who she played, but she's like one of the new like big celebrities, Jenna Ortega.
Oh yeah,
You guys
she's
heard
in
of her?
Wednesday.
Yeah, that's what
Also
she's
a good
known
show.
for. Yeah, she's known for that, and she was in this show. Now,
Okay.
who she voiced, I don't know,
Okay.
but she must have been young at the time because she was like 2002. is when she
Yeah.
was born,
Oh
so-
man.
So I'm not sure who she was playing, but she's in there, which I thought was interesting. But
That's interesting.
it's really surprising that how many famous people got involved in this show, and I'm not sure exactly why all of them did, but I know Elijah Wood was like really into this show because of the story, and he was just really passionate about it.
Oh yeah.
That's why I wanted to be involved,
Mhm.
which is really cool that he would do that, especially after like this is when Elijah Wood is top of the world. He's coming off of Lord of the Rings, man.
Yeah.
Like, and what does he decide to do?
Over the garden wall.
Over the garden wall? Spy Kids 3.
Oh gosh.
He's the guy. Though.
He's the guy. Like, he is the guy.
Oh, cake. Oh.
Cake. And then he dies. Spy Kids 3 is so funny. It's such a bad movie. I love it.
It's terrible.
Dude, they got Elijah Wood to show up, say cake, and die. That's
You got
all.
Arnold Schwarzenegger to be the villain.
No. Sylvester Stallone.
Oh, Sylvester Stallone. Oh, I'm
Yeah,
so
there
sorry.
you go.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh.
But yeah, I mean, it's really cool how they got a lot of very talented people,
Mhm.
very, very famous people involved in this.
And it shows. I mean, they
Oh, yeah.
all work with each other really, really well.
I mean, like, I think all the actors do a pretty great job. I think
Oh yeah.
Christopher Lloyd as the woodsman does a really good job.
Mhm.
I don't know the Beast voice actor, but he's amazing.
Oh my god.
His
It's-
voice is perfect. It's so
And it's
creepy
not
for
all
it.
like gravelly like you would
No.
expect a villain's voice to
No,
be.
it's-
Just low
It's
and
smooth.
It's
It's like
deep and smooth.
it's
yeah.
really smooth.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
It's perfect. I love it so much. It's so good. It's so good.
Man, they do such a good job of setting a serious tone.
Mhm.
When Wart finally finds Greg and he's being consumed by the tree, like turning into the tree.
Yeah.
They play Potatoes and Molasses in the background,
Yes, but it's
Oh,
Latin.
yeah.
but it's in Latin.
Mhm.
But of
It's-
course, those words don't exist in Latin, so they just made it up. They just go potatoes.
But it's so serious, man.
Yeah.
It hits hard.
Yeah.
It hits really hard.
I mean, it's a really that song shows a lot of Greg's hope and innocence
Mhm.
is related to that song. I mean, that was kind of his arc for that episode when it was introduced. Was him Beatrice told him the world sucks basically, and he was like,
I
"Oh."
need to find a way to make the world a better place.
Exactly. He just runs off to make the world a better place, and that's one of that song is part of that. And to recontextualize that in this scene, and it's kind of similar motivations because he did this to save Wirt.
Mhm.
He did it to make his brother happy and safe. You know, to send him
Yeah.
home.
He's so optimistic just all the time.
Right.
I think that's part of the reason why he had to be the one to get turned into the Adelwood tree.
The
Edelwood
tree.
trees.
Yeah. Yeah, it can be kind of
Because-
tricky.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because without Greg, there was not so much of a
No hope for
comedic
Wart.
break.
No, I don't-
hope for
It
Wart.
just made it very, very serious.
Yeah, I mean, if Wirt, that's what saves Wirt is
Mhm.
Greg being taken by the beast.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he would have died then and there.
Yeah. Well, he was already turning into a tree.
Yeah, he was already turning into an Edelwood tree, and the only reason he was able to get out of that was because
Great
of the
deal.
realization that Greg is gone and he got taken,
Mhm.
and the panic and from that, it gave him motivation again, which he needed. So, it's
It's good, man.
it's good stuff. Good stuff. Is there what's next?
You talk about Beatrice. We haven't even mentioned her almost
I
at
mean, we
all.
haven't
yeah, that's
mentioned.
true.
Yeah, we haven't mentioned Beatrice. Her arc is really well done.
It's
Very
really
set-
interesting.
well set up
She
and
gets
well
turned
executed.
into a bluebird
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, she's
after.
right.
in the very first episode. She only has a couple lines. She talks to Wart, and Wart is baffled that the bird can speak because birds
Right.
can't speak. And
Yeah, he taps his face in a really funny way. What?
what am I looking at?
What am I looking
He
at?
tries to explain it to Greg.
It's pretty
Birds'
Greg just,
brains aren't big enough for
for
speech.
cognitive speech.
And Greg's just like, oh, it's just a talking bird.
Yeah. Greg
Um,
is so chill. He just goes along with everything. Whatever's happening.
Everybody needs a friend like Greg.
It's great. I really like Greg in the mansion episode with Endicott, where they're
You
like,
know me well, nephew.
yeah, they've never met each other before this. It's one of the funniest lines in the show. They've never met each
That's
other.
probably
It's
got
just
some of my
really
favorite
well
jokes of
done.
the shows in the episode.
I'll never steal again.
Because Uncle
I'll get an
Endicott
honest
picked me
job.
all wrong. I got no
No
sense.
sense.
No sense at all.
And then throws the 2 pennies that
And
they
of-
needed into a well or a
And
fountain.
And of course, Fred's a talking horse. He can do what he wants. I would have steal.
I would've steal. While I'm in there, I'll steal other things too.
And sees this massive Fabergé egg with a clock inside of it, and his eyes are just flashing. It's pretty funny.
That
Fred's great.
episode is so. It's just a funny chicken. It's just. It's so. Peacock.
It's just a fancy
And
chicken.
It's just a funny chicken.
We'll come back to that. We'll try to focus for a little bit on Beatrice, but that episode's great, and I want to talk about it more.
That is a great episode.
So Beatrice, she's introduced, and she's just immediately trying to get him to go to Adelaide, the good woman of the pasture.
Yeah. Well, she can help you get back home. That's what
Yeah.
she. That's what she tells him.
Yeah, that's her main line is in that first episode. Her introduction
Yep.
is just hey, you want to go see Adelaide? She can help you guys, I promise. And then
You're two kids with no
Yeah.
purpose in life.
Yeah. exactly. And then next episode, she gets a little more clever about it because it didn't work at all.
Yeah.
Like it didn't even make an impact on
Yeah.
her, really.
Well, she was stuck in a bush.
Yeah,
And-
she was stuck.
Stuck in a
like,
bush.
quote unquote.
And Greg gets her out.
Right.
And she goes, well, now I'll owe you a favor. I'll help you get to Adelaide, and so she can help you get back home.
Yeah, I'll help you get back home. I'll take you to Adelaide, the good woman of the pasture.
I like how it goes brighter and like there's sparkles around her when she says it.
It's good. It's good. Yeah.
Little did they know Adelaide was not the good lady of the pasture.
Wait, what do you mean the good woman of the pasture isn't the good woman of the pasture? That's impossible. Yeah, so I like her plan there to try to make an excuse to get them to, like, to get her to go with them, and so she can try to get them to Adelaide.
I mean, she's put in a pretty difficult place too.
Oh yeah.
Like
But-
she has to trick these kids into going to.
Well, she's being blackmailed.
this
Yeah.
known, like,
Well, I mean, she's being forced to do this in order to save her family from being birds and eating grub and dirt. So, like, it's a tough situation, and of course, she doesn't think they're actually going to be like enslaved or anything. She doesn't think it's like as bad as it ends up being.
mhm.
But like, it's still tough. Like, she obviously knows that Adelaide's not the best character.
Mhm.
In episode 2, actually, she's so annoyed with Wart and how slow he's going.
Right.
She tries to convince Greg to like, hey, let's ditch your brother and let's go to Adelaide.
Yeah, that's messed
because
up.
she only technically needs one.
Yeah, I think it's at the is that episode 2 or is that at the beginning of episode 3?
I'm pretty sure it's episode 2 because they're on their way to.
They're on their way to
Pottsfield.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pottsfield.
Make a joke, AJ. Make a pot joke.
No, I'm not going to. I'm not going to. That's a joke from when I showed Baby G the show. Was Pottsfield showed up.
And he literally AJ pauses.
I paused the show.
And I just look over. I'm like, do it. Make a joke. And he couldn't. He couldn't make it.
I was laughing too hard, and I hadn't said anything.
Make a pot joke. Come on, do it.
No, I'm good. I'm good. I learned my lesson. I'm not going to be able to. I'm not a Seth Rogen. I can't do that.
Can't force a joke in
No,
every
I
line.
can't make a weed joke out of every line.
Oh,
So.
man. But I can't.
Did
No, I'm
you
just
say?
kidding. No. So I have a question.
Okay,
Another
okay.
question.
Okay.
So, in Pottsfield,
Yeah.
all of the inhabitants were all skeletons that
Yes.
had pumpkins on
That's
them.
true.
Yeah. Yeah.
The giant pumpkin
Yes.
at the very, very, very end.
Yes.
Yes.
When they're singing the
Yeah,
song,
Enoch.
like end credits.
Mhm.
There's a cat that comes out of the.
Yeah.
his
Yeah.
face.
The black cat.
Yeah. Enoch
What does
is-
that
is a
symbolize?
Yeah.
I mean, Enoch was the cat. Like that's it. That's all I got from it, at least. I mean, you could probably draw some symbolism from the fact that it's a black cat and something.
Bad luck, but like Enoch was kind of a good character.
Yeah, I mean, he's a good
He's-
character. But like, I mean, even that's foreshadowed with
I
the
mean,
cat dancing around at the
Mhm.
party, and
I
then he
thought-
disappears for the rest of the episode, or disappears with quotes because he's not actually gone. But you know,
Yeah.
I was really hoping that like he'd take off the pumpkin and it'd just be like a giant skeleton.
Be
would've
like
been awesome.
like the skeleton from Kubo and
The giant,
yeah,
yeah.
the massive one. That's a good movie. You should watch that.
What is it called?
Kubo and the Two
Kubo and the
Strings.
Two Strings.
Kubo
It's
and the
a
Two Strings.
it's a stop motion like fantasy movie.
Oh,
It's pretty cool.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
okay. Stop motion isn't my favorite animation, but it's better than clay animation.
Well, it's the same style. I mean, same idea.
I mean, yeah, it's the
Yeah,
same
but-
principle, but clay is a little different.
Mhm.
You don't like Wallace and Gromit, man?
Yeah. Do you
Oh
like,
my
do you like
goodness!
Chicken Run?
No, that gave me nightmares.
Oh my goodness!
That's
I
fair
had-
though.
I had
That
nightmares
movie
from that.
is kind of scary. It's like,
Yeah, I watched
Everybody
it
getting
once.
baked into pies, yeah.
Yeah, I watched it once when I was like maybe 8 or 9, and that's the last time I watched it because I had nightmares.
Man, The Curse of the
Yeah,
Were Rabbit and Chicken Run are like top tier.
Dude,
for me.
I love Chicken Run. It's like the punniest movie. It's
The tension is killing me. It's gonna kill her.
I need to watch that again. It's been a long time.
Yeah, maybe I'll get over the animation.
But yeah, I mean it's okay. You had a bad experience with it. That's all right. But don't hold it against it for too long.
Yeah.
What were we talking?
I got no clue. Pottsfield, the skeletons.
Pottsfield, yeah.
Beatrice,
we were talking
something.
about Pottsfield, episode 2. We were
Slimy
talking about
turkey.
Beatrice, yeah, the slimy turkey.
That guy is weird.
The turkey that was just like flopped over, lifts his head when work comes in, flops back down.
I was so confused what was happening. I
It
was
funny.
I didn't know what was happening. Like, it doesn't make any
It's
sense.
like, is
Yeah.
that necessary?
I mean, you thought it was just like completely nonsensical. So
yeah, I didn't think
yeah.
there was anything to it, except for the fact that we're asked for a phone, and
Which
then I
you
was
thought
like,
it was just like a bad writing. You thought.
yeah,
it
I was like,
oh,
that's just a really
stupid.
dumb joke. I don't understand why that. Is this a modern day thing? I don't understand.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, which does happen. Like I mean, I saw there was one episode of The Chosen that I saw, and they mentioned like a watch. Like, you guys don't have watches. This is Bible times. You don't have those. You
These are
have
sundials.
your
my friend.
sundials. Like you can't say that. But that was intentional, which I disagree with. But we're not going to talk about that right now because we're talking about Over the Garden Wall.
And it was
episode
very
2.
intentional. It
Yeah.
made sense.
Yeah, and it made sense here. It's not a mistake here. It's actually clever foreshadowing. Oh,
Yeah.
It's a hint.
Well, even the fact that Greg has a pot on his head makes sense.
Yeah.
Because
Oh,
it's
an
revealed that he's an
He's an
it's
elephant.
Halloween and he's dressing up as an elephant.
Which is really funny.
It's hilarious.
It's a funny joke.
And Wirt is like a gnome? Is that
Well, he didn't really know what he was going
I don't
for.
know. He's wearing like a cone on his head.
Yeah, he took an old
Cape.
like Santa hat and just got rid of like the fluffy stuff from it,
Yep.
and then he took
A Civil War coat.
uniform, a Civil War jacket, and like threw that on over.
And turned the fan on.
and he
oh,
was like,
yeah.
"Yes, this is it." It's like, what? Are
It
you...
works really well for his character, though.
Yeah.
Like, I can't see him in anything else now.
Oh yeah, it's great. Like, it's kind of weird to see him in normal clothes.
Yeah, it'd be really weird. There's like the one episode. It was the same one with the gorilla, and like the school and everything.
Yeah.
Yep. Episode 3.
And he was wearing pajamas and he had his hat off, and I was like, "What the heck?"
Dude, and his hair, his bad
Yeah, his
head
hair is so
funny.
bad.
It's awful. So we were talking about Beatrice.
Yes,
In
yeah.
episode 2. This happens a lot. we get tangented a lot. So Beatrice, episode 2. Yeah, she was pretty clever in that episode, trying to get him.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
Like she even made like the Bluebird code. She just made that up.
Oh yeah.
Like just
She's
on the
just
spot.
lying through her teeth, trying to get him to.
Well, birds don't have teeth, but yeah.
Lying through her beak. Lying.
through her beak.
Lying through her beak.
It's a metaphor she'd get because she was a human. At one
Yeah,
point.
she used to have teeth.
There we go.
Now she does again, but you know, it's a period of time. Yeah, it's like I like how she uses the Bluebird code, and she brings that up again, like at the end of the episode. Like she says, "I can't leave you because that's the Bluebird code." You know.
Yeah, we're trying to get rid of her.
Yeah, and then like a few seconds later, she's just like, "I'm out of here," because she's.
See ya.
it's
She did
another
that
good hint,
She did
yeah.
that the very first episode as well when the woodsman shows up. She's like, "I'm out of here,"
Right.
and then she does it again.
She
in
does it again
episode-
once like
yeah.
Enoch is like looming over. She's like, "No, I'm out."
Screw that Bluebird code.
No, that's another like quick hint that, especially in retrospect, you're just like, oh yeah, she was obviously up to something.
Oh yeah.
You know, she made up the Bluebird code, and then she like obviously that's a lie because not only did she like stutter and everything, she was gonna leave him, and then at the end of the episode, she brings it up again, and she's like, I can't Bluebird code. I can't leave you guys. I still gotta help you. We're not even. You weren't actually in danger. We're not even. We're not even, you guys.
Yeah, even though she did break
Yeah.
the chains off of her.
Yes.
It was just kind of an interesting transition from like seeing her as just using these kids to get her family back to like, oh man, these guys are kind of cool, and like she didn't really want to.
Right.
Yeah,
Wanna
that
do
mainly happened during the Endicott
The Endicott, yeah.
when they were talking in the.
What is the name of the Endicott episode?
Mad Love.
Mad
Mad
Love.
Mad
yeah.
Love.
Accurate.
Yeah.
Accurate
I could
title.
be going mad.
Could be.
Mad.
The doctors could have been
What's
right.
wrong? Your forehead. What's wrong, Uncle? Your forehead's all sweaty.
What's wrong, Unky Endicott? You know me well, nephew.
That line is so good.
It's so funny. I love it.
Such a, who played him? Because he kind of
That was John Cleese.
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
That was Mr. Monty Python.
Yeah.
Mr. John Cleese himself.
That's perfect.
Yeah, he does a great job. You know, and with celebrity casting, it can be really hit or miss. Like, some celebrities are not cut out for voice acting at all. But, like, I think all the celebrities here do great. What, are you thinking of somebody?
No, yeah, but
You don't want to call him out? I'm thinking of Tom Holland and Onward myself. But
Yeah. Chris Pratt did really good.
Chris Pratt is a good voice
I
actor.
love Chris Pratt.
Chris Pratt is a good guy, too. He gets way too much hate. Like, it doesn't make any
does.
sense.
He's such a nice guy.
There was one time I saw he just like posted like "I love my wife" and everybody was like, "You are terrible. You're a horrible person. You're a horrible husband." And it's like he was
What's
just
up,
like
guys?
he was just like, "I love my wife," and that's it. That was like the gist of his post. I don't know what they were so mad about. He's such a weird person to like be mad at.
Yeah, but I know what you're saying with
Yeah.
Tom Holland and Onward. I remember that being it wasn't like atrocious,
It
but
was just
considering like he's a pretty good actor, but it does not translate as well
it
for
was
voice
pretty
acting.
subpar.
Mhm.
It was pretty subpar.
I think I don't think he did a terrible job,
Yeah.
but it was just like, why did they get this guy to play?
Well, it's
Well,
just because they're popular.
When you think of like butts and seats, that's it.
yeah,
that's-
let's
that's-
get The Rock to voice the superhero for a dog movie.
Super Pets. He will be Super Dog. It's perfect. Like it's butts and seats. That's what Hollywood does now. And it really started back with like Aladdin and Robin Williams. Unfortunately,
That was,
Dude,
but that worked super
It
well.
worked. Way
it's
too
not
well.
it's not Robin Williams' fault or anything.
Oh, yeah.
But it's the fact that
R.I.P.
it worked so well. Like,
Yeah.
It made so much money, and they also like broke an agreement with him. Like one of the reasons why Robin Williams agreed to do it was because he said, "Okay, you guys are not going to merchandise my character. You're not going to make like merchandise of my character or anything like that. Like it's just the movie. That's all you get to do with this character."
And they weren't supposed to make any more after that either. They made the next one, and they
Right.
had to find a different guy to play
Well, yeah, but
the genie, and
of
it
course-
didn't do nearly as good.
yeah, so they obviously broke that agreement because money.
Yeah.
But you know, it worked out so well financially that they decided, oh, we'll just do this for all of them.
What? Disney betraying what they said for money?
Disney why? What? Disney betraying people for money? No.
You must be from a different reality.
Yeah, I mean, look at how Star Wars turned out.
Oh, God.
Look at what they did with George Lucas's precious Star Wars. Oh. Yeah.
Maybe Andor. It was good.
Yeah, Andor was good, but I mean, they threw out the script they bought from him. They
Sad
threw out
day.
all of his notes, all of them. They just pitched them.
They bought them.
They bought
They
them.
bought them,
They
and then
bought
they
them
pitched
and
them.
to just do nothing with them, to just lock them away.
It's like starting like a bread, like a bakery, buying the recipe from the bakery that was there
Yeah.
before, and then just throwing it in the trash right in front of them.
Exactly. It's like, this is great. I'm going to use this all the time. I'm just going to use it every day. And then just slam it in the trash can. Just looking him dead in the face. What are you going to do about it, punk? What are you going to do?
Literally writing the check for the building. Oh yes, and then taking the recipe.
Oh
just
yes,
sliding
that's very nice. Oh, that's a lovely little script you got there. Just gonna slide that off the side of my table. Whoops! Oh, it's gone. Oh, no, it's mixing with my tea bag. Oh, it's beyond salvaging. Oh, I think I got a Band-Aid in there. I don't want to take that out. You know, that dirtied the whole thing. I know. It's not worth it. It's okay. Thank you. Bye. Have a nice day. Here's $1
Yeah,
billion.
that's basically how it went.
Yeah, that was a live recording. We just edited that in there. We got live footage. We were there.
You were you were the one who did it?
No, I was in the office. I was just, I played my recording just now. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's pretty sad.
Dude,
Anyways.
you need to get some visuals, like some cameras going, because that was a lot of premium comedy.
Anyways, we were talking about Beatrice. This happens.
Well, I wanted to talk about her in the Mad Love episode with her and Ward.
Where she starts to turn. Well, I mean, she actually starts to turn around by episode 3. She's starting to have,
Well, she's being more fond to Ward,
Yeah,
like
she's starting to care about them a little more.
Yeah, because she sees he does care for his brother. He does care for Greg.
Yeah, and that's also a really important episode for Ward's growth too, because it's the episode where, because, Beatrice just calls him a pushover.
Yep.
And so he's just becomes as stubborn as can be, and that's part of his arc of gaining confidence in himself. It is, in a funny way, is that negative, spiteful thing just becomes a more positive thing that
over
feeds
time,
into his confidence, which we really see kind of the peak of his confidence in what is it? It's the tavern episode, right?
Yes.
Yeah, or well, not the tavern episode. That's not the peak, but I think the frog episode is probably the peak of his confidence. There's a big peak. There is a peak in the tavern episode, of course, when he goes to try to save Beatrice. But I think when he goes after Beatrice to see Adelaide is when he's probably at his most confident, and then just gets shattered, of course. But there's also a funny line in this episode where Beatrice is like, "When are you gonna give this up?" Never, maybe never. You remember that one?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That was really funny.
Never. I'm never gonna give this up.
Never. I'm never gonna give this up. I don't know. Maybe never.
It's like the school teacher song in that episode.
Yeah.
Man, this lady has some baggage, man.
That's pretty funny.
I died when I heard that the first time. Started singing a song with the whole alphabet, but just about
roasting her man who left her.
Just man, my ex sucks. He ditched me.
That's the best kind of breakup song right there. It's the alphabetical type.
The alphabetical
the apple that he bought for me.
That's pretty good.
But I found a worm inside.
I love Wart's reaction when he finds out that Beatrice was a human. He was like, "Wait, did I know that? Did I know that at one point?
Did I know that? I didn't know that." It's pretty good reaction.
It is. It's really, really clever because he was when he was confused the first time he saw her because it doesn't make any sense.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's seen so many different things that don't make sense, and he just wait, did I know that? Because he doesn't realize what makes sense anymore.
Yeah.
Some things just don't make sense in this where he's at.
I mean, just a lot has happened to him. So it's did I know this? Did I know this? I mean, I've experienced a lot in the past few days.
Yeah.
Was this one of the things I did?
It's a really interesting response.
Yeah.
This is what she should have done, though. She should have been like, "Hey, I've been turned into a bluebird, and so is my whole family. So to save them, can you guys come help me fry this witch? We just need to open her shutters for a little while."
She didn't know that.
Yeah, she didn't know.
She
was like,
realize
"Whoa, she wasn't kidding."
Yeah, she didn't know it was literal.
Oh, I
that
guess-
it
I
was
guess that
literally
is true.
poisonous for her. And she, she was, yeah. She didn't think it was going to be that positive of a thing either. So
Yeah.
she thought she had to trick them into it.
Mm.
But of course she decides she didn't want to do that, and that's when she gets caught not doing that, but sure looks like she was doing that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. That's the very next episode. She
Yeah.
sneaks away to try to get out of her deal.
right, because with the frogs, Lullaby in Frogland she's the whole episode is her she's changed her mind, and now she's just I gotta convince them not to see Adelaide, which is the whole thing I've been trying to convince them to do. So I gotta trick them into not doing that, which is one of the reasons why she gets Wirt to play the bassoon. Is
Because she thinks it'll get them kicked off.
Because Wirt says it's no, they'll throw us off if I do. She's like, yeah, you should do it. You know, she's trying to get them away from Adelaide, especially like with how quick she is, like when they're laying down to go to sleep. And she's just like, hey, maybe you don't even want to go home. Maybe it sounds like your home kind of sucks, man. Like, maybe you should just stay here. I don't know. He's just like, well, I guess. She's like, all right, matter settled. We're done. Yep. See you tomorrow. Goodbye. Just like, oh, okay. Good night. Good night, I guess. But yeah, I really like Beatrice's arc. I think it's very clear. Very solid over the course of those episodes. Like you can definitely see like her mindset shifting.
Oh yeah, and after the betrayal, or after Wirt finds out that what she was planning to do all along, he runs away from her, and she is like so earnest to get back to him, just to reassure him, like I wasn't actually trying to betray you there. I had changed my mind.
Yeah.
It showed that she actually cared.
Yeah. It makes the finale really good too when she's there for Greg, like coming back.
I mean, she saved Wirt, and then she goes out and looks for Greg.
Yep.
Immediately too.
That just shows how much character building they put into this.
Oh yeah.
Like, I can't think of a single character that was just like, yeah, they threw that guy in one episode and it didn't really fit very well.
Well, I mean, yeah, especially for like the main cast, like the people who like reoccurring characters, definitely. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, but even like the one-time characters per episode are so good.
It still works.
Yeah,
like,
a lot of them
are
great. And like even if they don't, you know, of course not every character is gonna have an arc or anything like that. That would be ridiculous, because you know you never get anywhere. That's just too much going on.
12 seasons long.
Yeah, it's 12 seasons long. All right, yeah, you remember the guy who said the beast is upon me? Yeah, let's look at his story.
Banana nut duck bread. That's another good joke.
Do you guys know how to get eggs from ducks? Do you know how to do that? That was pretty funny too. But like the highwayman, like all the people in the tavern are really funny. They serve their purposes really well.
Yeah.
The highwayman is really funny.
I bacons meat just like any man.
I work with my hands. And
kind of an odd character though.
Dude, he's so funny. Like he just like they're just talking, and then he just goes, "I'm the highwayman."
He just interrupts them mid
like the weirdest look on his face.
And then Wirt goes back. Wirt goes back to talking, and then he just cuts him off immediately.
Man.
Just bursts into song.
Bacons meat. Just like any man. I love the highwayman. He's funny. He's great. Yeah. And of course, like the rotoscoping and stuff, which is another one of those things that's like, you know, it's pulling from early American culture and stuff. Like, because rotoscoping was a pretty big deal.
What is rotoscoping?
Rotoscoping is when you animate over like footage of a person.
Oh, okay.
Or like live footage. So you know, live action footage.
Yep.
And you animate over that as like your reference.
So for like the Highwayman thing, that was filmed, and then they animated over it 24 frames instead of
instead of the usual twos,
cool.
which is 1 frame every 2 seconds.
Yeah, but they did it.
Or not 1 frame every 2 seconds, but 12 frames a second.
Yeah, but they did it double for that one,
which is animating on ones, and especially when you do rotoscoping, that can look really uncanny, and that's why it looks so strange.
He's bending his fingers, and it's
well, when he's bending his fingers, I don't think that part was rotoscoped.
You think it was just when he was moving around?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was just when he was moving around. I think it was just that one shot.
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure that was just a decision by one of the animators. Was like, I want to do this. I think it'll be really cool and it'll add a lot. And so it was like just kind of like one animator's like decision to do that. I believe. I could be totally wrong.
Well, I mean, it did work really well for his character.
Oh yeah. I mean, it made him a lot more memorable, and it made the scene a lot like. It made it really visually interesting and funny too. Like.
Yeah, it's cool when they change up the animation like that.
Oh yeah, it's awesome. And especially rotoscoping, you don't see that like
anywhere,
anymore, which makes sense. Like it's pretty intensive. I mean, I guess there's one guy on YouTube who does it, but a lot of the people who do it nowadays, they use like a program to like fill in frames and stuff for you, and it doesn't look very good because like it'll have like weird blotches of color and stuff that'll dart around and stuff, which is
well, okay. This is a little off. Was Rango done that way? Rango was filmed with reference. Okay. I didn't think it was.
They didn't rotoscope, but they did record every scene on like a soundstage, like maybe not a soundstage, but like they had an area where they were filming, like a set where they were filming and recording.
Oh yeah, I've seen Rango.
Yeah. Rango's
I was like the only one who.
It's right there on my list. I think it's 8th best for everything else.
Rango's top tier. Rango's
top tier video right there.
It's a top tier movie. It's great.
Yeah.
Haven't seen Rango? Watch Rango.
But watch over the garden.
The Lego movie is pretty good.
Yeah. Branson's over there. I have a list. I have a list in my office here of the best animated movies of all time. So yeah.
Well,
and I'm taking a picture.
Some of them are. Some of them are
Okay.
just there because they're recent. So it's
Yeah,
it's for
some
a
of
video
them.
that
Some of
Baby
them.
G's working on.
Yeah, March Madness.
Yeah, his March Madness videos, which he has one series of.
Yeah,
right
just
now.
1 year.
So he's got 1 year. He's working on next year's as well.
Yeah.
So if you're interested in that, you can go to his channel and
Absolutely.
check that out. But
That'd be pretty cool.
yeah. So we were talking. What were we talking about?
We were almost done talking about
We were
Beatrice.
talking about side characters at the moment.
Okay,
but
gotcha.
We can
Okay.
finish up with Beatrice and come back to that. That's fine.
Well, I'm pretty much finished. I wanted to talk about her at the end, like coming
Right.
back for Wirt and Greg.
Yeah. And I like that. I kind of like that Wirt grabbed the scissors too.
Yeah.
Because I think that made sense that
He didn't give it back. Like, you had him the whole time.
Yeah.
I was kind of mad at you.
it's like, it makes sense. Yeah.
Oh, you wonderful mistake of nature.
Do you guys want to? Okay, so you know how fandoms are weird, right?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
So the small fandom for this, there has been some talk, of shipping, which is a poison that infects like every show and film.
They're trying to ship Beatrice and,
yes.
and Wirt.
Yes.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my
some
gosh.
people have done that, which I think is weird. Not a
What
lot
about
of
Sarah?
people, thankfully. Yeah. Yeah. What about Sarah? What about her?
It's like
Yeah.
his main crush is
Yeah.
Sarah.
It's like it's part of.
It's like a core part of his
It is-
character.
It's one
Yeah.
of it's one of the things he's working towards is getting the courage to be confident in himself so he can ask Sarah out so he can hang out with her. But it's like, yeah, it's weird. The internet is a weird place and people are weird on it. Thankfully, that is not the majority of people from what I've seen, but there have been some people who do that, which I think is just bizarre considering everything in the story just doesn't support that.
yeah.
Yeah, especially
I think they were just friends at the
exactly,
end.
and I think that's
all they needed to be.
Yeah, and I think that's the problem a lot of shippers have is they see friendship and they're just like, oh, that's clearly romance.
They literally live in different time periods. They're not.
Well, I mean, they live in different dimensions. It's like, I mean, I guess if Wirt gets in a coma, if he gets in a coma, maybe, but I don't think so.
Also, how does that really work? Because Wirt and Greg, they both jumped over the wall.
Right.
Yeah.
The garden wall.
Technically,
Yeah.
the garden
The
wall.
everlasting.
The everlasting garden wall.
Yeah.
And they almost got hit by a train, jumped down this hill, and then landed
the water.
in
Yeah.
Right.
a pond or something. And they
Like a
were both
river
gonna
or
drown,
whatever.
and that's what started.
Right.
Their
them
journey in the unknown.
That's what put them in limbo in the unknown. Yeah.
So how did it? I'm kind of curious how that whole family of bluebirds
Well, like we've seen,
or Beatrice's family.
some people in the unknown are just straight up dead. Like Endicott, he's just dead. He's he's dead, and obviously he's been dead for a while, because he's back in there was Georgian style architecture and stuff like that, and French Rococo style.
That's not a good joke.
It is a good joke. It's funny. It doesn't really match his Georgian sensibilities.
What? Who am I even talking to right now?
Yeah, so it's kind of unclear exactly who is in the unknown, and some of them have to be dead people, obviously.
Yeah.
And some of
The skeletons,
them,
probably.
yeah, I mean,
Probably.
Pottsfield is definitely
They're
the people
really
there are
old.
definitely dead.
They died twice.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting how they have to dig up the bones,
Yeah.
for them
For
to
the
become alive.
harvest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really interesting.
It's kind of creepy that they call it the harvest too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that whole entire
The harvest
episode,
is
it's meant to be it feels creepy,
Mhm.
but it's not actually creepy. Is kind of
The whole
Yeah.
vibe is like
It's
pretty
supposed to
light.
be. It's supposed to be unsettling, but like nothing that sinister was really happening.
yeah.
You
Like
know?
the Joker, like, I
Yeah.
found buried treasure. Oh, sweet! And he goes to look at it. What is it? It's a skeleton.
skeleton.
And it's not like it's part of a skeleton.
It's just
Greg.
the whole
It's
skeleton.
Greg had undone the whole thing before he
Yeah,
said
he
anything.
didn't see like a bone. He didn't see just like the
He made
skull.
sure it was a whole skeleton.
He was just
first.
like, I gotta find. You know, he was a good archaeologist. He found the whole thing. He made sure it was all there. And then he was like, "All right, boss, go over and see what I found."
What was the one joke? He's like, a few hours and
Manual
Oh, yeah.
labor.
For trespass, I sentence you for trespassing and all these other
Destruction
things.
of property.
Destruction of
Murder.
property.
Murder.
Murder. No, not murder.
No, it's just kidding.
But all those other things.
We'll send you to a few hours of
manual labor.
Oh,
That
really?
part
And then
caught me so off guard.
Then the music is like so nice.
Dude,
and
Oh yeah.
That's a good song too.
gentle as the breeze.
It's,
sick.
it's Patient is the Night.
Patient is the night.
Yeah, Patient is the Night, and that one's a really good one too. And it ends on this really, really cool shot of one of the people from Pottsfield standing like watching over the fields with like a banner, like a flag flying in the wind. It looks really cool. That's one of my
Yeah.
favorite shots.
That whole episode is just super fall. Like
Oh yeah.
the colors just pop.
Oh
Like,
yeah, I mean,
everywhere.
like it's got pumpkins, it's got turkeys, it's got like a harvest festival, it's got corn
Skeletons.
and skeletons
For Halloween?
Yeah, yeah. It's got
Black-
skeletons,
it's got a black cat.
Yeah, it's all about it, man.
It checks all the boxes for sure.
Yeah. One of the funny details from that episode is that they give Beatrice this tiny little shovel.
Yeah.
Which
Well,
is
she's
so
a tiny
funny.
little weight on the.
A
Well,
cuffin, or the ball and chain, whatever that's
Yeah.
called.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's got a tiny little ball and chain and a tiny little shovel. She's just been sitting there. She's not doing it.
she doesn't have hands.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
She's got a beak. I mean,
She just uses the beak to whack the.
That's what she uses to pick up the shovel and break out. Which there's the
It's
joke
hilarious.
where they run off and he's just like, they left me.
And he looks down and he's not chained anymore. He could have left.
You guys left me. Look down, idiot. Just, oh. And he's like, and when he runs, and he's just like, "Are they chasing us?" And you know, Greg and Jason Vanderberg are just like sitting there
Doing
stretching,
yoga?
they're just stretching, just humming along, and Beatrice is just sitting there. It's like, "Are they following us?" No.
Well, what happened to the rocks?
It's a great episode. Like, man,
Oh my gosh.
I love that one. That one's awesome too. I love the show. So
I,
of
I
course.
like, I like all of them, except for the one that you said.
Yeah,
the
except
cloud
for-
turn thing.
Yeah, what's that one called? It's like Adventures in or something. Cloudland, something or other. What is it? Read it.
It's Babes in the Woods.
Babes. What?
Babes in the Woods.
Babes.
I guess.
How
that-
did I not remember that? I just look at it and I'm
Well,
just
I
like,
wasn't gonna. I wouldn't have laughed at that unless you. But you snickered beforehand.
Babes in the woods.
Bro, my favorite episode's Babes in the.
You gotta come over and watch Babes in the Woods.
What?
This is not at all what I was picturing.
they low-key love it because of the Old North Wind song there.
Dude, Old North Wind is great. It's
Oh my god.
that's
yeah.
awesome.
They'd put him in a bottle called Old Windbag.
You saved us, Greg. Thank you. Thank you. That's what I want.
We've covered a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They
I
packed
still
so
wanna
much
talk about-
into
yeah.
that.
Oh, I know.
It's like
It's-
10 episodes of
Oh, yeah.
It
10,
literally
11
it's a
minute episodes.
it's a normal movie length,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
they're restricted in how they how they do the whole thing
And
because
how
there's
they
15 minute
structure.
how they structure because there has to be a start and an end
Mhm.
10 times
Right.
and
Well, it's a
And they don't really leave you on too much of
Right.
a cliffhanger. Right?
Well, it's it's traditional TV storytelling
Mhm.
in not episodic, but in the terms of like how they used to do more serialized storytelling in television, where they had each episode is a story, but each episode it's adding to a larger story.
Yeah.
So each episode's a
yeah.
story, and each season is a story. So you have like layers of storytelling.
It's like a Lego.
It's like a Lego. They're layers.
I was gonna say it's like an onion.
It
but
is
I,
like
I haven't even seen Shrek, so I can't.
It is like an.
Shrek's amazing.
I'll watch it eventually. Yeah.
Yep, he's 20
Might
subscribers
even make it
away
on that board.
It might.
at the moment. So, lost track of what we were talking about again.
Well, we covered Beatrice finally.
Yeah, I think we talked about Beatrice and her family. I like that her mom, like, as soon as she's, like, Wirt mentions Beatrice, and she's just like, "You've seen my daughter?" Just
Yeah.
like, yeah. And it says a lot about her mom and her family, that they would take him in, you know, even though he's, like, a massive human, and, like, shove him into their bird nest. And, you know, it's crowded already. And so...
Fed him dirt.
Yeah, it's just like there's a stranger on the door, and it's Frog, of course. But there's a stranger on the door, and he's freezing, and she just takes him into, like, no questions asked, and just feeds him and takes care of him.
Yep.
Like, that says a lot about her family.
And I like the scene at the very end with her and her family.
Yeah.
Now eat your dirt. Mom, don't call it dirt.
What are you gonna do? Turn us into Blue Jays again?
Oh, it's so wholesome. It just had an ending that made you feel so good.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Where they're all back, and
The Woodsman especially.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
That's such a good ending.
Dude,
you could almost cry.
I mean, the Woodsman is great. I love his story so much.
He's been in there for probably
I don't know.
decades.
He's been doing that for ages. Ages.
Yeah.
Obviously, and especially since, like, the Edelwood trees, they're really hard to come by at this point, and he can't harvest them efficiently anymore because the mill's gone. It's like he's been doing it a long time because he's having trouble finding things.
Didn't he build the entire mill? Or
No, he
maybe
found it. He found it.
Okay.
It was Beatrice's family's home, and he found
that's
it
right.
abandoned and used it because it's a mill, and that's useful for his harvesting of the Edelwood trees. So, but I love his character so much, especially how he's like, he's trying to help Wirt and Greg. He's trying to warn them, like, constantly throughout the series, and even though they're, like, terrified of him later, and they're desperately, like, trying to get away, he cuts down the tree to block their path so he can try to warn them, and you know, it's not working. But
he almost, the first time I watched it, he almost seemed like the bad guy for up until like episode.
Yeah,
and he's so intimidating.
It's very intentional
compared to Wirt and Greg.
He is.
He does sound like they're, you know, like his dialogue. If you don't know what's going on, he does sound like a little unhinged. You know.
He sounds crazed.
Yeah, constantly like warning about the beast.
He's
and
always
stuff,
chopping down trees in the woods, harvesting oil to
Yeah.
burn this lamp that he says his daughter's soul
Well,
is in.
he
Like,
didn't even,
you are psycho.
well, they didn't even know. They didn't even know that part. But
Well,
yeah,
I guess yeah.
Like, this is this weird guy who just constantly is chopping up trees to fuel his lantern and going out in the woods, and they think he's singing these like creepy songs, and of
Which
course,
is super creepy. Like,
yeah,
That is kind of
yeah, and like then the tavern folk tell him he who wields the lantern must be the beast. Yeah, so it's like, yeah, I mean, I love the Woodsman a lot. Like he's probably one of my favorite characters.
And that kind of shows you that the beast actually did carry
and
the
that's
lantern
a hint. That's a
before.
hint where he's like, okay, the beast clearly carried the lantern beforehand. There had to have been a point where he was carrying the lantern. So yeah,
He just found someone else to do his dirty work.
yeah, and like, it's such a heartbreaking like thing to imagine too. It's like you've got your loved one, your daughter, and you think she's trapped in this lantern. She never was.
all
And
that time was wasted.
Not only was you didn't know at first what you were harvesting. You didn't realize where it came from. Now you know where it comes from, and you are like desperate. You want to save your daughter, but like you wouldn't cross that line. So you're just trying to find ones that already exist, and you're like desperately trying to find those, and also warn the boys so they don't get turned into it, and fend off the beast at the same time. And you've got so much going on emotionally and like things to do wise as well. Like and especially when he comes back to the branch at the mill that was left behind at the first episode, and he's desperately like trying to crank oil out of it, and it gets like nothing. It's just like a drop. It's tough, man.
Yeah.
Like
You can't help but feel bad for him.
yeah, and like obviously, there was some circumstance that made the woodsman believe his daughter was going to die.
Mhm.
So, what, like, and then that's how the beast tricked him. So presumably, when he like blows out the flame, he assumes his daughter's dead, anyways.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But the beast apparently just tricked him into leaving.
And the beast is intimidating him throughout the whole show as well. Like,
Right.
well, I'll take the lantern for
I'll
you.
take
You're
it
looking
for you."
tired, woodsman.
Right.
I'll take it over for you. And it's like really
If
interesting.
that would have
Yeah.
happened, like he could have kept on going for forever.
Yeah, I don't think the beast would have failed.
No,
you know
not at
what's
all.
also creepy is all the Edelwood trees
Mhm.
came from other people that
Right.
Oh, yeah.
lost
Right.
hope, right?
Yeah, lost
Yeah.
hope, or
So
failed physically.
it's not the end of the world if the beast turns the woodsman into an annual tree. Like, he'll find someone
yeah, he
else.
could do that too.
Yeah.
But like, I think part of that is because the beast is manipulating him.
Mhm.
He wants to keep the woodsman in line, but also part of it is because he does want the lantern back. Like he's getting a little worried about it.
Well,
at this
because
point.
he's constantly had to interrupt him because he's trying to warn like Greg
he's
and
constantly
Mort.
trying to
And
warn them. Yeah.
The beast would rather have like someone who's more okay
Right.
with what they're doing.
Well, I mean, it completely defeats his purpose.
Yeah.
He's undermining him, and so he's either okay, I'm going to take over, or I have to keep him in line. So he's like trying to do both of those things.
Which I thought for the longest time the beast was just shadows until I paused it on that frame where
yeah,
Oh yeah.
it's so
his
cool,
light
man.
on, and oh my gosh, yeah, because he never touched anything. So
No.
I thought he was just
Well, like the beast and the
some
woodsman were
spirit.
fighting, but we never
Right.
saw them like.
Mhm.
He
get
does.
blood.
He does touch the woodsman at one point, I believe, but
Okay.
like his hand is still like shadowed, so
yeah.
I think you still can't.
The woodsman's
tell,
like
right?
swinging his axe, like
Yeah,
trying to freaking kill him.
and then of course the beast defeats the woodsman.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like if Wirt hadn't showed up, it would have been over there.
Yep.
He would have taken his lantern and he would have just finished him off and been done with it. You know?
Yeah.
It's like
Had another tree in the forest.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
Which I would have been a little suspicious of the beast, because he's like, yeah, keep burning the lantern. And I'm like,
Yeah.
why would you care so much? Because it's my daughter's spirit. Like,
Yep.
yeah. I think that's why what tips Wirt off is like, why do you care so much about this lantern?
mhm.
Yeah.
Why do you care about it at all?
Yep.
I
Plus,
think-
what he was told at the tavern about, like, well, it is whoever
Right.
has the lantern is the beast. Like,
Right, which
Mhm.
I
Must be
think
the
that's
beast.
part of it, but I think
Yeah.
the explicit thing is just like the beast really cares about the lantern,
Mhm.
and that's weird because it shouldn't really matter to him.
You have some weird obsession with keeping this lantern lit. It's almost like your soul is in the light.
And then he just like freaks
My
out.
mind, my mind was blown when he said that. I
The
was,
entire screen just goes black except for his eyes. And
Dude.
then-
that was
Dude,
crazy.
there's so much cool stuff with
Ah.
the beast in that episode.
I want to watch it again.
we will. We will. We can do Halloween.
we all got to invite a new person to,
Yeah.
to show
Yeah,
us.
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know new people. Get Sam.
Come on, Agent
I
Nebula.
can take Sam.
Would he like it though?
I don't know. Maybe. I mean, he likes animation, but
Who
he's
wouldn't like it?
well.
I know a couple people. We should a couple people who don't like it, but
Really?
yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
it's
I mean,
sad.
I can tell you.
Later.
I mean, unless you want to edit it out.
Nah, I don't
Just
want
like leave
Maybe.
a long pause around, so it's easy to edit out. It's like, why does it go silent? Oh, that's why.
Gotta clip
Beep-
that piece
just
out.
beep it out.
Yeah.
But yes, it's such a good show.
Yeah.
You're right. Who wouldn't like it? You're
Yeah.
right. Yeah, absolutely.
You'd have to sleep through half of it to not like it, especially to
Oh,
call
can you
it
imagine? You'd be
call
so
it the-
confused at the end.
to call it the dumbest thing you've ever seen.
Really?
And compare it to SpongeBob.
What? Okay.
I'll tell you. Tell you who it is later, but yeah.
Gosh.
I can't believe What a bad take. And then they watched it again and they still didn't change their mind. It's like, why? I don't know.
Crazy.
You got some weird perspectives on storytelling that I don't agree with. I don't really understand, but hey.
Can't agree on everything.
Yeah.
I don't know, the animation's so good, the music's great. Dude,
Yeah.
so you get the potatoes and molasses, and then you've got it again, also in Latin. But right before that, you've got the Come Wayward Souls, which is so good.
Come Wayward
So
Souls is
good.
amazing. That one's just like, it's such a good song.
It
Especially
makes
like,
the finale so
the
intense.
beast.
Like,
It's so dramatic. It's so dramatic. And like, especially for like that scene, like the finale, like the climax.
Greg's literally turning into a tree. Wart can't move the branches.
Right.
The music's just hitting you so hard.
Right. Well, the music is what I wanted to
Yeah.
point out. It does a great job of like underscoring like everything that's happening and adding to
It really
adding
makes
to it.
seem like it's truly hopeless. Like
Right.
You're thinking in your head, what else can they do?
I mean,
Yeah.
like potatoes and molasses is like. Yeah, I know. You know, it's kind of like operatic and I don't know. I want to say heavenly, but that might be a little over dramatic. But you know, it sounds like a choir. You know, like that kind of choir is reminding you of like death. So, you know, it's
Ominous.
yeah, or kind of like I don't know. I guess a heavenly choir is kind of the best comparison I can come up with off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Even if it is a little over dramatic, but you know.
It goes high. It's high for the song, like high pitched voices, like choiry voices, and it goes low, and then the woodsman has fallen over.
Right.
And it's
And
its finale is so good.
And there's this one musical cue, like I don't know what instrument or how they used it, but there's like this one noise where when he realizes that the lantern is like it's the beast who is tied to the lantern.
Yeah.
Where there's this just one musical cue, and
it's almost like a bell or a ding sound,
Yeah.
but it's an instrument.
Yeah, it's like some sort of
it.
it's like a weird chime, and then like this low like brass instrument comes in to like underscore it. It's like it's just
It's very well done.
it communicates communicates so clearly combined with the visuals. It communicates so clearly words like realization in the moment of what's going on.
And even
There's no confusion.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
So clear. It's so clear. And
You know
even
what he's thinking.
and even in that like so
Yeah.
serious moment, they still have a little bit of comedy in there that
Yeah.
works shockingly well with Wart's voice cracking.
Yeah.
Like, are you? Are you like?
Yeah.
Because it's his
Yeah.
character being confident, but also he's freaking scared.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's also
Like-
he's scared and he's still like he's still kind of an awkward person, but you know.
If there wasn't any comedy, it wouldn't
Yeah.
feel as real probably, or like as
Well, it's comedic
Well-
because it's consistent with his character.
Yeah.
It makes sense. It
Yeah.
fits so well with his with
Which
who he
is
is.
the best kind of comedy is stuff that's just comes from characters doing what they would do.
Yeah.
they didn't make it too serious, but it was
Right.
just intense enough.
Right.
Oh yeah.
It was a good balance. It was a good balance, like you pointed out earlier. Tie it all together. Yeah, do you guys want to talk about episode 5, Mad Love?
Mad Love.
Mad Love.
Okay,
Mad
sure.
Love. Mad
Is
Love.
that your favorite episode?
It's pretty high.
Okay,
It's pretty high.
mine's the
pretty good.
finale, but
Yeah, I mean the finale
The
is great.
so-
finale
yeah.
is probably my favorite too.
The
I
finale's
like the
great.
frog, the lullaby or whatever.
Lullaby and Frogland. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was really
it's
good
a
too.
frog society.
Society.
Okay, Mad Love. Okay.
Mad Love, yeah.
It's just
God, it's so funny.
Every caught. You know me well, nephew.
this is one. It's like one of the funniest episodes.
It is.
It's so good.
It's so good. Like they're trying to steal because he's so rich,
Yes.
and Wart's against it because stealing is wrong. And then Beatrice is like, "We just need 2 pennies."
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
and so he's just like,
Yeah,
that's all he says is just, "Oh."
and there's one point where they like cut back from the group who's looking for the ghost, and it's just like smashed stuff, like everything is torn apart. And
Beatrice
then-
is breaking everything.
Well,
like,
well, it's not even that. It's Beatrice is just like trying to find it, and she's like being careless,
yeah.
and and Wirt is like desperately trying to like pick things up and prevent them from breaking, but he's
He
so
just ends up
clumsy.
breaking
He just
things.
breaks them himself. Like he turns his head and his hat just
funny.
knocks over this priceless vase.
It's okay.
Let's
He'll
go.
probably never see
Let's
it
go
again.
exploring through my mansion of obscene wealth.
He got lost in his own mansion.
Dude, it's massive.
Yeah.
It's
How
so
big
big,
it is.
it's combined with another one, and he didn't even know. Man, those contractors.
I'd be
should
so
go-
confused.
They should.
It's like, let's play a prank on these people.
Man, it's like, these people are rich. We'll just do one job for both of them. They'll never even know.
There's pockets of cash.
That was one thing that was
Exactly.
kind of weird. Is like one episode would end, and then they just like spawn in a different area.
Well,
I mean,
kind
the
of, but
episode-
it
the
kind of
episode-
makes sense for some of the points. Like after the Mad Love episode,
Mhm.
they're on the ferry, which is where they were trying to go in the
Right.
episode before.
Yeah,
It-
that's what they needed the 2
Yeah.
cents for.
which they don't actually have, which is why they get in trouble.
Mhm.
It all makes
Yeah.
it. Because the first time I watched it, I was like, but they don't have the money. That doesn't make any sense. And then they end up getting in trouble for it. And I'm like, oh, I'm an idiot. Well, like,
Mhm.
why can't you just shut up?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, so they snuck on and that leads into it. I mean, I think most of the episodes lead into each other just because they end with them like leaving and going on to travel.
Mhm.
Yeah, like
So-
they were writing Fred. And then,
Yeah, they were riding Fred and then it cuts in, they've like
Fred's
they've
a
arrived at
horse.
Fred is a horse.
He can do whatever he wants.
He's a talking horse. He wants to steal. He's great. Fred is top tier, like he's really
Fred's
funny.
hilarious.
He's
While I'm
amazing.
in there, I'll steal
Oh.
other things too.
He's great.
I'll get an honest job. I'll never steal again.
And then of course I love Endicott's like Endicott is so funny. He's like so like ever so slightly unhinged.
He's like
He
legit,
is.
like the camera like will like zoom in on his face, and he's like eyes will go from like sharp open to like squinting, and then
squinting.
open like back and
he's
forth.
like, and he's sweating and he's like shaking.
He's so funny.
Do you know what these hands have done? These filthy hands have done for this money.
Fred's like freaking out.
They're so
Let's get out of here. Let's go.
like clearly Endicott was not a good person.
No.
There's no way. Like he clearly was up to some shady stuff. and
he thought he was going mad.
Yeah, he was like, maybe the doctors were right.
That was the funniest line
Yeah.
for me. It's like, maybe the doctors were right. Like he said casually and quietly, like behind Fred's back.
It's
Fred and
really
Greg.
funny.
He just openly admits that he could be mad. Like,
Yeah.
he's just. He's like, yeah, I'm probably mad. That's probably what's going on.
Crazy. And then of course like that he doesn't even question that they're his nephews. He's just like, oh, okay. and it's really funny that Greg doesn't question it either. It's real.
What's wrong, Unky?
What's wrong, Unky? What's wrong, Unky Endicott? What's wrong? You know me well enough. We brought that up like 3 times now.
Yeah.
It's just such a
It's
good
such
joke.
line. It's really funny.
The rewatchability of the show is insane because of the jokes.
This
Like,
is one of the 2 shows we rewatch like every year.
you know?
You can keep watching it.
Oh yeah, like I think this is a show that is definitely worth a yearly rewatch.
Yeah.
Especially
Oh,
since
yeah.
You'll notice new little details that you
Yeah.
didn't pick up on the first time, or
Yeah.
the second time, or the third time.
Well, like,
Or-
over the carnival, it's like, it's the kind of thing, like, halfway through the year you realize, man, do I have to wait till fall time to watch this, or can I watch
Literally.
it now?
Yeah.
There's like 1 or 2 Christmas movies that are like that for me, and then and it's Over the Garden Wall. It's
which,
like, do I
which
really-
ones? Which Christmas?
It's a
movies?
Wonderful Life.
It's a
It
Wonderful Life. Yeah,
it's
okay.
literally I'll like 2 weeks after Christmas it'll be like, gosh, I want to watch it like again,
It's a great
like right
movie.
now. But yeah, Over the
Yeah.
Garden Wall, it's like it's Christmas, so I can still watch it. it's
It's not
there's
too
2
late.
leaves on the
Yeah.
tree. It's fine.
Yeah, I mean the leaves.
I
are-
glued them on. It's still...
There's one of them that's yellow out there. You know, the tips are kind of red. I guess it's time.
Those leaves are dead. That tree, you cut that tree down.
It's like you pull out leaves just like every week. You have one leaf. Oh, this leaf is dead. I guess it's time to watch the show again.
You plant a tree indoors. Just to, you only plant evergreens outside.
Just like poisoning all the trees in the neighborhood. Like, slow.
Just so I can rewatch the show.
What are you doing with your weed burner?
Nothing.
Shut up, neighbor.
The ultimate Super
Mr. Peace can't plant trees as fast as I can kill them.
The anti-Lorax.
I am the weed killer. I speak for the weed killer.
I'm the burn axe.
The burn axe.
Or just the axe.
I am the axe.
Smells awful.
I am the axe. I speak for the me. And me wants to kill plenty of trees. It's like, that's not a good rhyme at all. Shut up, I'm not Dr. Seuss, man. I'm trying. Anyway, it's a great episode. It's a great episode. And I like the episode 4 as well. Like, I think that's episode 4. It's the tavern.
Oh, yes.
Which, that one's great too. I think the characters in there are really funny, especially the master and the apprentice.
Tugs on his apprentice.
Pretty funny visual gag. He's got the apprentice just by a rope, tying him, and drags him around. And the butcher's voice. The butcher's voice is really funny.
Yeah, tell us your love song.
Tell us your love song, young lover. Young lover. This ain't no love song.
Like the squeaky voice for the keeper.
Which is another like American like pop culture or like American culture reference to like Betty Boop, that kind of style.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of bird is that? It's a bluebird. And, like, shoos her out. Bluebirds are bad luck. Like, that's good luck, actually. Good luck, bad luck. I don't need any of it. I just curse you, lady.
Someday you'll die and I'll laugh. It's just a really funny line. And then when she leaves, the dog just closes the door and like flops down.
Flops
That
down,
dog
walks.
is so funny. They like push him over to get it open.
And like, and the courting song is funny too. Oh, it's pretty.
That's good. Yeah.
It's a good song as well. Old Black Train is probably one of my favorite ones.
That's the one where they're rolling down the hill.
Yeah.
When they jump off the train tracks. Old
If you
Black
haven't
Train.
heard the full one, that's worth a listen. It's pretty good.
It's a pretty good song.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, man, what a good show.
Yeah, and the Old Black Train. I do the potatoes and molasses.
Potatoes and molasses.
The Latin version, obviously.
Yeah.
Come Wayward Souls, and the intro and outro songs.
Yes.
The theme, I guess, is that just the theme of the show?
Yeah.
So good. So
Which-
good.
I like how the frog plays the piano too.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
That's a nice touch.
When he starts singing and everything in the show.
Oh yeah,
Oh.
no one knows what's happening. They're like,
Over the Garden Wall, the actual song, it's great. It's a
Mhm.
great one. I think pretty much every song in the show is like awesome. And,
top tier.
yeah, I just want to say like the blasting company, they're the people who did that. Like they were in charge of the music for this, so just
Okay.
props
They
props
nailed
to
it.
them. Yeah,
Mhm.
like they did a great job, and it doesn't seem like they have like that much music. Like it doesn't seem like they're up to a ton nowadays, but
No.
you know.
And it's not like overwhelming either. It's not
No,
like they
it's-
just blast it in an action scene.
The blasting company wasn't blasting.
No. Wait a second.
Yeah. They did a good job. They did a really good job.
Yeah.
And like I said, it ties in really well to the aesthetics and the vibes, I guess, of the show.
Well, it fits the animation style.
Yeah.
Well, especially with how dark it is some of the times.
And again, like the American culture stuff, it sounds like the type of music. It fits with the visuals. It's just really well done.
Oh yeah.
This is, there are not a lot of shows that take like a lot of inspiration from like American folk culture and stuff, like or movies or anything. Like, it's pretty uncommon nowadays, but like it can be done really well. And there's a lot of cool stuff from American folk culture, like folk culture, like
Folklore.
yeah, folklore. There we go. Like thinking back on like some of the Disney shorts like John Henry. That Disney short
Yeah.
is really good. Like,
Oh yeah.
I think that one's great, and Paul Bunyan is fun too. But it's like I think there's a lot of potential there that we don't really visit a lot nowadays, and maybe that's just like a cultural shift or something. But I miss it. I miss it because like it's a really cool time period, and we've got a lot of cool history and art and just like
We've
culture.
got so many good resources too. Like we have more resources than any generation before us.
Yeah.
And we're making some really garbage movies and TV shows.
That's true. Yeah.
I mean, there's some good stuff.
How dare you reference the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie?
How dare you ref? How could you say that to Seth Rogen? Stop talking about Disney that way. Stop it.
Oh no.
We know you're not referring to Puss in Boots too, obviously.
Yeah,
oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's disappointing, but I think it would be great if we had more movies and shows that were willing to experiment with like new animation styles or like unique like to like a time period or a culture.
Oh yeah.
Like to really take inspiration from one of those and like draw out those aesthetics, like the new Disney movie that's coming out, the big anniversary one, the big anniversary.
Wish?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Wish. One of the things that kind of bothered me about Wish from the trailer is just that just by looking at the film, I have no idea where it's set.
Yeah.
With old Disney films, they took so much inspiration from the culture that, like, Disney's always been adapting like folklore and fairy tales.
Yeah.
So the culture, the setting, like, it was so well realized in like Aladdin, in The Lion King, and just like all those classic films.
Oh yeah.
And then you look at the new ones, and it's like I think I have no idea where this is supposed to be from. I saw that it was Italy. I saw that it was supposed to be in Italy, and I was like, how would you know? How would you know that any of this is supposed to be inspired by Italy? There's nothing to do with it. It doesn't look like Italian culture at all. The people aren't Italian, which I mean, like, obviously that's not a big deal if you're you're setting it in like a fantasy world, or you can do whatever, or especially modern day it's perfectly reasonable to have like a very diverse cast. But when it comes to adapting like a specific setting, especially a historical setting, that's not going to be very common. And you can still have like people of different races in your film as like characters and stuff. Like, that's fine and all, but like when you're adapting like a historical setting, it's going to be hard to realize that setting without like using people who are from that area.
Yeah.
It would be weird if you had like a show set in like Africa, like historical Africa, and there are a bunch of white people who are just wondering. I mean, I guess there are time periods when that was, but like I mean, like going back further, going back to when that wasn't really going to be a thing. It would be weird to see that, and if you want to have those things, it's okay. Like, you just pick a good setting for that. Pick a setting where it makes a lot of sense. But anyways, I just wanted to say that I think a lot of people are missing out on that, the ability to have like those unique aesthetics and have something that's like really full of like its own personality and reflective of a culture or a time period. I just don't think that happens a lot anymore, which I think is really disappointing, especially when you get into like the stuff that is actually supposed to be like historical, like dramas and stuff like that, where they just completely like race swap like major historical figures. It's just it's not great. But yeah, anyways, this show doesn't do that. It takes full advantage of its inspirations. It's great. So
amazing. It's like its own thing.
Oh yeah.
It's hard to compare it to other shows, animated shows that I've seen.
It's extremely distinct. Yeah, it has its own personality for sure.
It's the first show that I've seen in a while that was like completely original and didn't suck.
Yeah.
Because you can be completely original and suck.
Oh yeah, you can. I mean, and a lot of shows nowadays, or things in general, entertainment-wise, are just based off of pre-existing entertainment. So.
Sequels and spin-offs make money.
Yeah, that's true, they do. And that's fine. Like, it can be great too. Like we like Puss in Boots 2. Puss in Boots 2 is a great movie.
Oh yeah.
Into the Spider-Verse is a great movie.
Yeah.
It's
heck
like-
yeah.
Some of the best films we've had lately have been sequels and spin-offs, but a lot of the stuff we're getting is just sequels and spin-off from the major studios, at least.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
there are plenty of independent productions who are doing their own things, and a lot of them have come up with really interesting ideas, like just really unique premises and just cool stuff. But like 1917, great film, and that's a historical drama sort of thing. So historical action, I guess, but great movie, and it's not based off of like a franchise or anything. It's not like part of the Saving Private Ryan universe or anything. Like,
Well,
no. But you know what I mean. Like, they're not pushing it as anything like that. But,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
yeah.
We are copying from the real world. That's illegal. That's
You're not allowed to do that.
only fantasy stories.
You can only make things up. Otherwise, it's not real fiction.
Historical fiction isn't even fiction, really.
It's basically true.
It's basically it has history in the name. Just ignore that last half.
Yeah, so is there anything else you guys want to talk about? I mean, like, any notes, anything?
I don't
Not
even know
really.
how long we've been talking.
Oh, I don't know.
It's
Probably at least
been-
2 hours.
It's probably about 3 hours, or I think it's like 2.5 maybe.
2.5, yeah.
It's pretty
Maybe
good.
something like that.
Dang it, I was gonna go for new record shortest.
Nope.
Uh,
Maybe after I edit it.
Yeah, take all the crap out.
Alright, AJ, go for it.
So there's one shot where in episode 3, where Miss Langtree is looking through the window, just about to sing her song, and you can see dust particles in the light. And I thought that was a really cool detail that not a lot of people would catch or do, because that's a real thing that happens, and
Yeah.
it's cool. It looked nice, so I just wanted to point that out. And of course, Wirt's shoe when he gets the pumpkin on,
Yeah,
and then
it stays
it's
on.
stained for the rest of the series, pretty much.
Oh, I did not notice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
I'm not sure if it's consistently on the right foot the whole time, but it's pretty consistent from what I noticed.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's completely consistent.
It's pretty
but
cool.
It's pretty impressive, like, commitment to that detail. Like, most people would have just like had it for like a couple minutes,
Or
and
the
then just, like,
episode,
the,
and
"Ah,
then
it's
done.
Yeah, but they like kept it for a long time, and especially when it comes to like something that's asymmetrical on a design, you can get a little confusing as to like to keep track of that. It's a lot of
From different angles. Yeah.
Considering, like, Momo in Avatar changes colors all the time.
yeah.
Depending on what angle you're looking at him from.
Yeah, and then there are a lot of animation errors in shows, and I don't blame them for that. But like,
Oh, yeah.
to take on that willingly and to do such a good job with it is impressive,
Yeah.
and I think that's worth just pointing out and saying that's cool. I thought in episode 3,
Yeah.
where the dad comes in and he goes, "Is this what I've been paying for?" I thought his delivery was really funny.
When he took off his coat.
When he
And when
takes off his coat.
yeah.
And he's just like a little guy.
He's like so thin.
He's just like a twig, and he sets up the trombone in his coat to make it a tent.
And he didn't steal,
And
but
then-
he took all of the kids' instruments
Yeah,
to fund the school.
right. Oh, because of that wild gorilla
On the
and that
loose.
no good two-time Jimmy Brown.
Jimmy Brown.
And yeah, I thought that he was pretty funny, especially that line. "Is this what I've been paying for?" I thought that was funny. And then of course Greg's reaction to that when he falls asleep and he's just like, "Let's steal his stuff."
Dude, the comedy in the show is on another level. Like
It's
like
really
Avatar:
good.
Last Airbender is hilarious, but like for how long the show is, 'cause it's literally just a movie's length. It's
Yeah.
so good.
They packed it full of comedy, and it wasn't like garbage comedy either.
No,
Can you
it's
play?
funny.
Can you play this and just bangs on the
And
piano?
then she goes, "Oh, you mean this?" And just
Okay.
You can tell he's like really like disappointed. Like, that's not what I did.
Yeah, good enough.
Like, what do you mean? That's not it. I didn't do that. So Two Old Cat, right?
Oh yeah.
Right, the game they're
Two
playing?
cats.
There's a line of dialogue in episode 9 in the background where right when Greg is entering the party, where the guy is talking about like some games, like he's been playing like some sports like softball and stuff like, and then he says 1 cat, 2 old cat, so he's like listing that off as Greg enters.
As games like to play?
Yeah, as games to play.
Oh my god.
That's
insane.
I caught that this time.
That's
I was
insane.
Like, that's so cool.
I would have never caught that.
That's such a cool detail. Like who?
Yeah.
Like who's gonna find that? Most of the time, like nobody's gonna find that on first watch. Like
No, yeah, no, there's
No.
no on the first watch, never.
No,
No.
like, nobody's gonna find that on
I
the
think
first
it's
watch.
made to be rewatched
Oh
over
yeah,
and over
I'm
again.
sure. But like, that's such impressive. Like you didn't even have to have like that line be related to anything. He could have been talking about whatever.
You could have just named off a bunch of actual games.
He didn't even have to be talking about games. He could have just been talking about like, gee, the sky sure is blue. Yeah.
Man, I love watermelon.
Yeah, he could have like it could have been anything. Like the line could have been whatever, and instead they chose to try to tie it into something, and that's so cool. I just think that says a lot about the show and the creators, which they deserve a big shout out. Like,
oh yeah.
this is a great show, and I hope they're doing great things nowadays. I don't know what they're up to, but Elijah Wood's still around.
He's still the guy.
He's still the guy. Yeah, so I think those are the neat little details I wanted to point out. I guess one more question. What did you guys think about Greg's singing?
Greg's.
Yeah, as far as voice acting goes.
I thought it was pretty good.
You thought it was pretty good?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Great. Like for the potatoes and molasses, for
Yeah.
Yeah.
What else did he sing besides potatoes and molasses?
Adelaide Parade, I guess, but
Oh yeah. Yeah.
it was
I
a
thought
lot.
it was good.
I could tell it was like
I mean-
higher pitch than his
yeah,
regular
I just
voice.
thought it sounded
Mhm.
like it was a little bit out of his range, but
Yeah, I don't.
yeah, that's
I
it.
thought it was-
I
it
don't
was
blame
bad.
him for that.
I mean, he's-
he was a kid, so
Mhm.
you know it's like
Yeah, I thought it fit perfectly.
yeah. I thought it was in character though,
I
so
didn't
that's why it
see
didn't bother me.
anything out of it.
But I just thought that could be a potential critique people would have, so I just wanted to counter.
Yeah, I haven't yet to see like a critique of this show
Yeah, I
on
mean,
YouTube.
I've seen,
I've only seen praise for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
which I think is pretty fair. I suppose I do have. I guess I do have one more question that I think about it when I watched it last night. I was like, they don't really show how they get back from the unknown, do they?
No, and I've always been curious. Like, how did the Woodsman get back? Was it right when he blew out the lantern? What? Like, how did he?
Yeah, how did? Well, I mean, we just hear him say like goodbye to Beatrice. They say goodbye to
Yeah.
Beatrice, and then
By
they wake
war,
up,
and then, yeah, they wake up in the water.
and it's like, what?
I thought like right when the woodsman blew out the lantern, everyone went back. But I guess they didn't go instantly.
Well, I mean, not everyone would have gone back either because you know Woodsman and Beatrice and all the people in the unknown are still there.
Mm-hmm.
Who just weren't in Greg, and of course Jason Funderburker.
Jason Funderburker,
Jason Funderburker.
which I think is hilarious that he was with them.
frog.
Like,
Yeah. And dude,
he still has the bell.
he still has a bell, which
He still has the bell like outside.
yeah,
Like in the hospital, he shakes the frog and the
Yeah.
bell is inside of him.
which I think is an important detail because that
Because it just shows that it really
confirms
happened.
that it was real.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you'd be left thinking, okay, well, it was just a dream. It never really mattered.
Yeah.
It's
But
even-
it did.
They
Yeah.
both remember
It did.
it. They were both
Yeah.
there together.
Which
Yep.
I think another
like that doesn't happen.
I think
in
another
dreams.
way to make like the it was a dream thing work. A good example of that is the one episode from Adventures in Odyssey with is it Jimmy Barkley or
Yeah. It's Jimmy.
Barkley. And
He has the same type of
Yeah.
experience.
sort of. He's
He's
having like,
in some kind of limbo.
he's having like these dreams where he keeps fighting this person, and there was one guy with him who's trying to like help him and save him, and it turns out he's in like a coma and he's battling for his life, and these dreams
Yes.
are like a manifestation.
Like death is coming after him. He's fighting death.
Death is like coming for him in all these dreams, and the other guy's like supposed to be an angel who's protecting him. And I think
Yeah.
that's
Adventures in
really
Odyssey
cool.
can be pretty deep.
It goes
Adventures-
hard sometimes.
Sometimes, most of the time, like Adventures in Odyssey is peak. Like
That's another show I would say is very adult at times. Like
Oh, yeah.
almost all the time. It's
Adventures in Odyssey is a program that can be enjoyed by anybody.
Just like this show.
Exactly.
absolutely
Good writing, it's for all ages. Like
and spans the test of time.
Yeah.
Like I think this show is going to be popular for basically forever.
I
Like,
think
I'm shocked more people don't know about it. 'Cause
Yeah.
Almost
Well, it's a-
none,
like I said, it's the first miniseries. I hadn't even heard of a miniseries before I
Right.
watched this, and
Yeah.
so if Agent M hadn't like said, "Hey, watch this show," I wouldn't have probably known about it for like a long time until I just like, I wonder what this show
I mean, a lot
is.
of people didn't know about it. Like it aired on Cartoon Network, and I think now that a lot of people who grew up, like who had seen it when it aired, and are getting older and talking about it, I think it will become more popular. But because it
I hope
was
so.
because it was just aired, and it's pretty niche. Like they only aired it like during a certain time of year. They aired it in like a marathon format. It didn't happen that many times.
Yeah.
When you think about it, I don't think it aired that much, but it's a really good show. But it was made for a very specific season, and because of that, I don't think they ran it very much.
Yeah.
So, limited.
It's just
exposure.
crazy how much effort is put into something that's it's to me it's weird because it seems so short for a show. Like it's literally just a mini series, but how much effort went into the writing and the animation.
Oh yeah.
And
It's
It shows too.
right. Yeah, it's above and beyond, and it's just like, don't judge something because of its format or because of its.
Oh yeah,
it's
absolutely.
It's all about how you use the time you have,
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to storytelling and just craftsmanship for like film or animation or whatever. So, it's a really good show, and I think. Did you guys want to revisit the question about like how they got back, or because like I didn't know if we wrapped that up or not.
I don't have an answer for it.
I don't have an answer for it either. Do you think there should have been an answer for it?
No, I don't
Okay.
get an answer for it. Not really.
What do you think the significance of the cemetery being called the Eternal Garden is? Like, do you think that means anything?
Well, that's
Is that-
literally the title of the show. It's just
is over the
over the garden wall.
So I think that's what they're getting at. And cemeteries have been referred to as like gardens before.
Mhm.
Because if I would have caught that the cemetery was named that my first viewing,
Mhm.
I probably would have seen a lot more of what would happen in the final episode. But because I wasn't thinking about it, I'm just like, oh my gosh, what the heck is going to happen?
Right.
Yeah.
I wasn't thinking, why is this show even called Over the Garden Wall?
Mhm.
Because if I watch this show with someone and they say, well, this show is pointless, it all happened in their heads, like, it doesn't make any sense. I'm like,
Yeah, it's just a dream.
like, no, like, when they went over that cemetery wall, they almost died, like, but they went together,
Mhm.
and like, ugh,
Yeah.
so good.
If they didn't go together, they definitely would have both died.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, yeah.
yeah, I don't. Yeah, it's a great show, and I think that's a really cool detail that you noticed. Do you guys want to talk about the? There's one episode I don't think we've talked about like at all, and that's the one with Anti-Whispers.
Anti-Whispers?
I don't think we talked about that one like at all.
I don't like that episode very much.
Really? Why?
Yeah. I don't really know. It wasn't as exciting as the other ones, and I feel like the comedy wasn't
Okay.
quite as on point as it normally is.
Whoa,
I
for
mean,
some
they
reason
literally-
I thought the other lady was the people eater.
We're here to burgle.
The ringing of
We're here to
bells.
burgle your turrets.
That was pretty funny.
There were actually some really.
I
good
wish
jokes.
for you to turn into a magical.
I take back what I said.
I wish for you.
It's okay.
I wish for you to turn into a magical tiger. And what? No, don't do it.
Yeah, I
I
mean
wish
that-
you to turn it, go away, and never come back.
So,
Dude, Auntie Whispers is creepy as heck.
Whispers is kind of creepy, but she's really. I mean, that's part of the subversion of expectations there.
The closet full of like bones and.
Well, it's just like a catacomb. Like,
Yeah.
it's just like there's just a catacomb underneath this little
And-
house.
And what was her purpose? Like, cause she didn't
Auntie
work
Whispers?
for the beast,
Auntie
right?
Whispers, at least partially, what's in the show. She eats the turtles. The turtles are evil.
Mhm.
So she's like
Correct.
she's some sort of good force.
Yeah,
Because
she's trying to protect.
counteracting
Is it her daughter or niece?
Lorna.
Lorna.
She's not related.
Not related.
No.
Because I know they mentioned that, but
Yeah.
I thought she called her daughter.
She did.
Um,
I think she did.
I
don't-
think she
She's
calls her
not
daughter.
actually.
I don't
she's
think
not
she's
actually
actually,
related
though.
because
I know they're not
Yeah.
actually related because they mentioned that, but I'm pretty sure she calls her daughter.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, it's just why I'm.
Well, I mean, like that's some old people do
because
that.
there's
Some
a joke.
people,
Yeah.
They're just like, wait, she's not your actual aunt. She's like, no. And she's like, what the heck are you doing here?
What? Just- wow, that makes it even worse.
And a little bit of like embarrassment Wart gets when he's
Yeah.
like with her.
The
Come
little
with you, come with us.
They keep like crushing on each other.
Yeah.
It's
And
just
there's
like-
an awkward montage.
Yeah, the
when they
cleaning.
were cleaning.
Yeah. I like her character all right. She's okay. She's
Yeah, it's
fine.
alright.
I did hear one criticism from somebody I knew, and they were asking like why Auntie Whispers didn't just like use the bell to cure Lorna already,
Mhm.
and why do you guys think? Because I have
Well, because she wanted her to be with her. Like, she's
yeah.
lonely.
That's what I was thinking.
Like, she probably knew she could have done it the whole time.
See, I don't know if she knew she could have, but she could have. I just think that she was lonely and she thought this was a fine enough solution.
Yeah.
And plus, it would help her not be lonely. So
Yeah.
she wasn't really invested in finding
Yep.
a cure.
That's just what I thought the first time watching,
Or
so.
maybe she was just like Adelaide and wanted a servant.
It's like as soon as she's cured, she's like, all right, let me go. I'm gonna go off by myself for a little bit. Don't worry, nothing's happening. I'm just gonna call a friend. Your spirit, come back, please. Give me another bell.
Well, she warned Greg and Wart
Right.
like beware of my sister. She's not a good lady.
Yeah.
Too late, lady.
Beware of my sister Adelaide of the pasture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Too late.
Too late. But yeah, I think that's a pretty funny episode too, especially when like where it is like we gotta find shelter, and Greg says, well, as long as it's not
that close. Yeah, it is.
And he's just like, wow, that's perfect. Just ignores him again.
Yeah, that line is so good.
Yeah.
Well, okay, as long as it's not that old broken down shack.
Right. And that's one episode where that's where you can really see Wirt's regression after being betrayed too.
Mm-hmm.
It's it's tough to see.
Greg's like, shouldn't we find Beatrice? And Greg,
Wirt is
Ward's just
not-
shutting him down. He's
not having it
no.
at all, and that's by the end of that episode he's just like we're just gonna wander around forever. This is it. Is this all we're doing?
Because that was like the only hope that they had was that Adelaide was going to help them
Yeah.
get back.
And they don't.
Yeah.
The only other person they know is the woodsman, and
The friend that they had
Yeah.
lied to him.
yeah, so
Yeah.
it's like they don't have anyone who can really help them get home, and all the like they've talked to all the people they visited before. They talked to, they got information from, but they don't know anything. So
Mm-hmm.
they've got no way to get home and no one to help them get home. So it really feeds into the like hopelessness he feels in the next episode, where he's like just like, hey, can we admit we're just gonna wander around forever? We're not going home. We're not getting back. And Greg's like, you can do anything if you put your mind to it.
That's a great
So
line. I love it.
And then the Beast uses that as well. And Greg says, you can do anything if you can put your mind to it. Isn't that right, Gregory? Just like,
Beast is so freaking intense.
yeah,
He is.
he's a good villain. He's a very good villain. Yeah, so I just wanted to bring up that criticism because that's one of the few criticisms I've heard for the show as well. So
It's almost creepier that the Beast like never touched anyone, never like
yeah,
like
he's not.
physically exhausted himself. He just told people what to do.
He's just
and
manipulating people.
yeah.
Yeah, he just manipulated people.
He's
the
just
whole
like
time.
manipulating people, trying to give them make them hopeless or make them exhausted.
Mhm.
Just trying to kill them off by
Which is
tricking them
almost
and
more
stuff.
evil than like
Yeah,
actually hurting.
well, I mean, I don't know if it's more evil, but it's like it is more twisted in a way, I guess. Like it's
yeah.
maybe
Yeah, the finale with like
Yeah.
the woodsman has fallen over and now he's just trying to manipulate.
yeah. That's like the only
Right.
time he results to like physical violence is when he fights the woodsman. When the
Yep.
woodsman engages him.
And then he tries to manipulate Wart and
Yeah.
to save Greg.
And he's really at Wirt's mercy at that point
Yeah.
because he has the lantern, and then
Yeah.
he figures it out,
Yeah.
and then
He must not be that overpowered if he was fighting the woodsman.
no, I don't think he's like physically like that.
No.
I mean, he's still strong enough to beat the woodsman, who's got an
Yeah.
axe, but
Yeah.
the woodsman is an older man.
He's
so,
been chopping down trees for
yeah,
years.
He's been at it for a while.
true.
so- yeah, so it's like I don't know, but I think the Beast was really cool, of course.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Favorite name for the frog other than Jason Funderburker, which is his
George
true
Washington.
name.
George
George Washington. It's really good. It's got a great joke.
I like Kitty at the
Kitty.
very beginning, and
Yeah,
the first
Kitty's
first
pretty
episode where he's looking for a kitty, or no,
Where did that frog name?
where did that frog name
Kitty
go?
go?
Yeah,
He
that's
named him
probably good.
Wirt too. He's like, that's gonna be confusing. No, because your name is Kitty.
How would you like it if I called you Candy Pants?
Yeah.
Oh,
Then it comes back later during the Halloween episode where he just shoves candy in his pants. And
Yeah.
it makes sense.
And that explains where he got the candy from.
Gosh.
Yeah, it ties together. My favorite name, just like as a name, is Dr. Cucumber. I think
Dr.
that's, like,
Cucumber.
I think that's a really good name for like a pet. Just Dr. Cucumber. Paging Dr. Cucumber. I thought that was funny.
That
Anyways,
was pretty good.
Yeah. What else?
Nah, that's it.
That's
you
it.
covered it pretty well.
You want
Yeah.
to shout out Branson's channel again? There you go, and mine.
One more thing.
Baby Giraffe.
Quotes.
One more.
Quotes. I quote
Okay.
the show all the time.
Oh, I quote the show all the
Quote-
time.
This show is very quotable. So,
Yeah.
I want to steal.
so I'm just gonna just shout out some quotes. You
I did.
I quote all beans and ain't that just the way?
Ain't
all
that
the
just
time.
the way? Holy moly,
Ain't
hot
that just
dog.
the way?
Holy
Holy
moly.
Holy moly, hot dog.
That's
I've
great.
done. Oh boy, hot dog.
Oh boy, hot
Which
dog.
was just
yeah.
like, we just heard it wrong the first time, I guess.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
remembered it wrong, and so we just said it that way
Oh
for
boy,
forever.
hot dog.
Oh boy,
Which,
hot
I mean,
dog.
Holy
it's,
moly, hot dog.
oh boy, hot dog is still.
I
pretty
quote
funny.
the you have beautiful eyes.
You have beautiful eyes is a great one too.
It's just hilarious. It comes up in the weirdest context sometimes.
Do you like my new contact lenses?
You have beautiful eyes.
The president is nude. Wait, I don't quote that one.
Baby G does.
I do.
This is funny. I think.
Should I throw something?
Should I throw something? It's good too. Yeah, I think all beans and ain't that just the way are my top two, but
Yeah.
I use those all the time. All beans.
I'm gonna use that one more.
It's great.
Oh.
Ain't that just the way?
Ain't that just
Ain't
the
that
way?
ju- I use
Yeah.
that one a lot. So
I use that one the most probably.
yeah, this shows had a big impact on my vocabulary.
It's so good,
Yeah.
man.
So it's a great show. It's a great show. Overall thoughts? It's great.
Absolute.
Watch
absolute
it.
Watch it. It's been the
9 out of
conclusion.
10.
Yeah.
A high 9 out of 10.
I don't have a number rating, but I think it is a really great show, and I think it's one of the. I think it is up there with the greats of American animation, especially for
Mhm.
television. Like
Oh yeah.
for television, it's way up there. Like
Oh,
it's,
yeah.
it's definitely among the greats.
It's very enjoyable, no matter how many times you've
Yeah.
already seen it.
Yeah, like
Which
it's
makes
yeah.
it
the
so
rewatchability is insane.
I think
It's so good.
I think it is like a modern classic. Like it's.
Mhm.
I think it really holds
That's
up.
that's an oxymoron, but yeah, that's fine.
Well,
I
I'm
mean-
a moron, so I'm happy with that.
Well, I guess I'm an oxy. All right. Well, it's over the garden wall.
Yeah, thanks for listening,
It's a
everybody.
Great show. Branson, where can they find you if they've forgotten by now?
On YouTube, Branson Good. I'm very creative.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks. I had a great time.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks for coming
thanks
on.
For coming, man.
Yeah.
And thank you, audience, for listening. Thank you, showrunners and everybody involved in production for making this.
Yeah,
thing.
thank you for making this.
Thank you for making it. You did great. John Cleese. Hi.
Top notch. Top notch.
Be safe. Don't
Yeah.
jump over any garden walls.
Yeah, don't jump over any garden walls, and have a happy Halloween and a good fall.
See ya.
See
Next
ya.
time.
We still haven't decided what order we're going.
Doesn't matter. We'll figure it out.
It's chronological.
Yeah,
characters.
we'll start chronologically.
Okay.
Okay. There's no promise that we're going to stay that way.
No, of course not. I
Okay.
said start
Brief
chronologically.
non-spoiler, then we go spoiler.
Do I have to introduce myself?
Yeah.
We'll say, and we've got Branson.
Yeah.
Hey guys.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Mom.
I'm Branson.
I sure talk like I'm an Indian guy. Like the entire time.
No.
No, please. Please.
Don't
Okay, fine.
get us in trouble.
We'll literally get in
Fine.
trouble.
But we're from
get in
Korea.
trouble. That's
Who are we
true.
gonna get in trouble
Yeah,
with?
we're Korean. We're Canadian Koreans.
King John
Yeah.
Un or whoever.
King John Un. That's the president, King King John Un.
What is this actually? It's too early for this.
Okay, you're gonna have to put this in somewhere. You're gonna have to.
How am I gonna put this in? It's like at the beginning of the
Come on, it's funny. You're gonna have to put it in. It's like a bloopers.
At the very
King
end.
John Un.
Oh dear, the first thing I say is a blooper.
Our very first blooper, actually.
It was pretty funny. I mean.
I'm the first mistake.